and that he also made mention that he would he has the ability to contact you as well. So if he like sends you, like if he is sending, obviously you can talk back to him. You don't need to know the spell in return. But if you want to talk to him first, you would have to use the bird.
Just double checking we are level 3.
Correct.
Just making sure I didn't miss a level up because I've done that before.
And
So we
Kara
came,
is standing at the front door now. I don't know where you want to put her.
Okay, I'll just move her some.
so we came here because it was kind of like to drop these two off, and then on the way to our first person we were at.
Correct. And also, as an FYI, if you guys choose to, Mally can join you. She's not much of a fighter, but she could support you if you chose to take her with you on any expeditions. Victoria is not going anywhere though.
Leave a little girl in the middle of the woods by herself. That's like haunted from what we know.
What could go wrong?
I mean, there were a bunch of dead bodies spread all over the floor when you were here last, but so, and if you look at the upper part of the room or upper part of the map, so the very top portion, obviously up here is the kitchen, and then over here is essentially the alchemy lab that Mally will spend the majority of her time in.
So, if we like were to leave, how long would it take us, do we think, to get to like catch up with this next person? Because I know Grayson gave us a lot of information on it.
Well, yeah, it depends on which one of the two we're going for. The one heading to Otar or the one heading to Taramala?
Yeah, the one in Taramali is much closer.
But isn't Otar where the headquarters of the Mordoon is?
Yes.
So if the person gets there, we're fucked.
Yeah, we should probably go that way first. And I think Evelyn and Ayla, possibly? I don't know. I know Lena did, but did both of you come from up that direction?
Yeah. You would know that... Oh.
Ayla did not.
Okay, so all right.
Evelyn is from the major port city of Rabisnevis.
Okay. So, yeah. All right.
Plus, yeah.
Lena was from Alda, a tiny one.
Yeah, okay.
Plus, I was going to hand the book on brewing to the people who were left behind to build our cover.
Oh, and I would actually remind Ayla that I gave her a bunch of ingredients. She wanted them to see what they could do with them.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Ayla would give that to the others.
And then Bjorn would go do stupid Bjorn things while you guys decide how we're doing it.
Library or this looking area, are there actually any through the bookcases barren?
There is some books, nothing spectacular.
She's gonna say, "Well, I'm going over here," and she's gonna wander off, and she's gonna go sit in the library and like see what books are left.
Yeah, I'm gonna have Son trying to go through with who's left to set up a winery.
I would come up to him and be like, well, I've actually made wine before, but I could try it.
Well, if we're going to be brewing stuff here, if we brew wine as well, it helps sell the whole messing with ingredients style.
It's a good plan, yeah. And yeah, she'll take the book from him and start reading to try and figure out what on earth she's doing.
Actually, Bjorn does have something he wants. While they do their things and they decide what's going on next, can I just and try to do a little bit of hunting so there's some sort of at the house?
Yep.
Yeah, so I would just do that. Like I have my hunting trap and stuff like that. So yeah, I'll just go out and try to get a decent amount of meat that they can either salt or something like that to keep here, so they have something while we're gone.
Do a survival check.
Survival it is. I kill a rabbit.
And also on the upper part of the map, so on the right hand side, the top part is a kennel, and the bottom part is a stable.
I think I'm going to leave my dog here.
But you have a dog? What?
Yeah,
When did that happen?
he's always had a dog.
It's news to me.
I'm pretty sure it's a magic dog.
Yeah, it's a fine familiar.
Oh, you. Doesn't count. It's not a dog, it's a fey monster beast.
Don't you talk down about my dog.
Oh, hush. Elena's gonna, like, when she's like gone through the library and just seen what's there, does she find anything interesting?
I mean,
or are they just like what's the kind of books?
there's a few. Most of them are more historical books, but there's a few sort of like more fiction. Some goofy romance novels and things like that. But most of it is more boring, sort of textbook history type of thing.
You say boring, but that's kind of her thing. She
Well, I
likes
mean,
this-
It's just
she
the
likes
writing
history.
style is a bit bland, I would say. But I mean, they're interesting if you're interested in history.
She'd like gather a few, throw them in her room, and then wander the grounds, look in the stables and stuff. Make sure there aren't any animals that have been left here to die.
There are not.
Okay, that's good to know. Good to know we have somewhere to put horses and animals if we get some.
Yes, for the most part, the lodge has been pretty well furnished. From what you guys have seen, you're assuming that some of these carts were put down because they couldn't get the blood out of the wood on the floor. So, but they're nice. It's overall pretty well furnished, and it's in good shape.
So we did get a lead box from someone, right, to transport that.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I've got the lead box.
Then, yeah. Well, if everyone's good with me taking it, I'll take it, and that's just for the lead box too. So that way, when I'm not wearing it, I could put. All right.
So did you want to do anything else while you're here? Did you want to talk to your wards?
Yeah, I'll talk to both Lena and the other two.
Oh shit! I forgot Lena's staying here.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
So I'd ask them if they could possibly go into town to look into purchasing brewing equipment and stuff for it, and I'd leave 100 gold to pick that stuff up.
Yep, Lena would say, of course she would, after she figures out exactly what they need and such.
If you need any more, I can drop it off next time we come past.
Thank you very much.
We should leave some paper with them in case. Maybe 2 or 3.
Paper?
Yes, bird paper.
Yes, the birds.
Lena actually wasn't in the room when you talked about the birds, but
Oh, yeah. Bjorn will just say, you write note and it fly to the person intended for.
premise. Oh, okay. That's interesting. It's like magic.
Yes, like.
you decide who we go after first?
I think it would be wise to go after the messenger going north before he can reach the Mordoon.
At that, Lena's eyes just widen, and she's like, "You're going up to Baranor and up north up there?"
Eve is also very interested.
That would seem to be. I've not been north, so I wouldn't know the layout of the land.
Yeah.
I know it a little.
We hope probably catch before he gets that far north.
Hopefully.
Oh, definitely, hopefully. I can't. If any of you magic users are caught up there, it's not going to be good.
Well,
Believe me, I know.
That's why we're hopefully
Yeah.
going to intercept him before he reaches his destination.
Well, I can't give you any tips that you already don't know, besides it's really hot up there, so don't dress like you did down at the mountains.
Good to know.
And I mentioned this in the last, the end of the session too, that Grayson had somebody tracking the person that you're talking about now, but didn't have anybody tracking the other person.
Does that change anyone's opinion?
So we do have someone looking after the person heading north.
Yes.
I mean, that doesn't really change anything, because if he gets there, we're not going to be able to get to him full stop.
See, I mean, I'm assuming at some point we saw a map of like where everything, like where we're heading and stuff, right? Like, did anyone have a map like Grayson say this is the way you should go?
Yeah, I think Grayson mentioned we should go to the one in the west first because it's closer and
That's kind of what Bjorn's thinking. Like, just looking at the large map with how much shorter of a distance it is, by the time we catch up to this person going up north, the other person would probably get to where he's going. Because I mean, even if we go and catch him like right here, that's still further or almost as far as going here. So we would have to go all the way over here, then come back this way. Whereas this way we could just go here, and then he still has a long travel through forest and stuff to get where he's going.
True, but
Grayson believed that the other guy was heading toward Ferndale.
Oh, I thought it was okay.
yeah,
It's Stonefall. I can't.
that's the thing. Say, one's going up here to where literally some of us can't go. The other's coming over here for where we all can go.
True. True.
So it's someone's vote to go east, but if people want to go west, we'll go west.
yeah, Isla doesn't really fear going up to Otar or going up north, so she votes for going west to because the other guy isn't being tracked like the other guy is.
Just because that's kind of like Bjorn is rather simple-minded, and Grayson is the one who put him into all this, and since Grayson said one way, he would vote that way too.
Eve wouldn't really mind. She's not really wanting to head up north, so the other one is a great option.
Then it looks like we're going west.
Yeah, screw our smart person. We're not going to listen to him.
Yeah.
So the next question is, do you want to go straight there? Do you want to go to Ornheima first? Do you want to take Mally with you?
I say no to Mally. Let her, with Lena here, try to get that whole brewing stuff set up. And I mean, Bjorn talking to her a little bit, depending on how receptive she was about like interactions with us, and just try to explain, like, to try to keep the young ones that Lena's capable. She could help out with stuff that's needed. Like, just try to stay out of sight of everyone that's not one of the people that have like brought her here. But I mean, my vote would be no. It would just be us four going, because walking around with a failed Mordoon might bring a lot of attention.
Isla would agree.
You mean more than we already have?
Said that she would radiate magic. Like, if another Mordoon, they would know immediately what she was.
No, I mean, they would only be able to see her if they looked her in the eyes. They would notice that what she
Okay,
was.
see, I thought she like radiated magic, like as a being.
No, as long as she's
Okay.
not carrying any magical items, she would.
Oh, okay. Well, I would look to Soren and say, well, do you wish to have brewing set up first?
Preferably, the sooner we have some form of cover for our new base of operations, the sooner we can rest a little easier.
And I would look at Eve and say, I guess you do not wish her to come.
She would be like a beacon. I just. Is she in the room? Like, is she nearby?
She doesn't have to be.
If she's anywhere that she can see, she just gives her like a very like a low glare, and she just says, "I think less is better. A smaller group is less noticeable."
Well, I guess we follow roads. Most people travel that way.
Be easier and safer.
Yeah.
Mostly.
I'll look at Ayla and I'll say, where are you familiar with in these lands?
Familiar with the south and forests mainly, not too far north.
Okay. Well, I think we do not go to Ornkaima. I believe we just go out forest towards the road and travel as fast as possible.
I'm fine with that.
You think you can guide through forest easily?
Me? Yes, I believe so. I did spend some time in this forest.
He kind of just nods and looks at the other two like, well, that sounds good to him.
Well, now that we know what our general plan is, we should set off.
I mean, yeah, I would like to set off morning, like not at night, but depending on what time and all this, how long all this took, that's up to you guys or Matt.
I mean, it's not the time wise isn't particularly imperative.
Okay. Then I guess head out. I would also leave an extra like 50 gold or so with Lena and say, since I no come to carry things, perhaps get the donkey.
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea. We've got a stable out back, did you see?
Yes, that way you can bring more per trip.
Good idea. Thank you, Bjorn.
How does
And she'll
Bjorn
just
have so much money?
and she'll just pat his arm.
Bjorn doesn't understand money, so he kind of just throws it at random times.
But he has, like,
The first job we did, we got paid a lot of money for.
Ayla's the one with all the money. She got paid a bunch for saving the rest of you people.
Mm-hmm.
and they didn't get paid jack shit.
You were part of the failed mission, essentially. Nobody else got paid either. Well, the other people, the other characters got paid, but they're not being played. So
I has no mons. I is poor.
Isla has 888 gold.
I have 13.
Don't worry, we just got to kill 2 spies who I'm sure aren't dangerous at all, and then you'll have some money.
I'm robbing their purses.
What do you need to buy? You already got a house. Come on.
Paper!
And we're getting a business.
I constantly need paper.
So yeah, I think, like you said, we're like right here-ish, right?
Yep.
I would like to try to just have her bring us through the woods this direction so we can get onto the road and skip Testra completely and head up that way.
Okay.
Because I think staying away from the capital, especially at this point, would be best since Grayson's on high alert and leaving there anyway.
And just so you know, this road here, the main one that's going to Ornkaima and then all the way up to Baranor, that is known as the Queen's Road.
Okay.
It's essentially the main road within the entire island.
Okay.
Or the most traveled anyway.
Is it like, I mean, in most like settings, it's like, if you stay on the roads, you don't have to worry too much.
Yeah,
Is that kind of like how this is too? Like, as long as we're not venturing through the middle of nowhere.
And especially around this general area, around Tesra, anything
Okay.
pretty much from for the most part, any main road from city to city is going to be pretty safe just because there's enough travel between them. It's if you go off road or
like down little paths.
Yeah, it would be a little more dangerous, but
okay.
And
so
you do in your first night staying in your new house, you do hear some wolves and or coyotes, and you hear some strange sort of sounds, creatures that you're not entirely familiar with, although those of you that would have some knowledge, I'm not going to make you roll for it. You hear what you would recognize as fey creatures, just noises of creatures that aren't, your regular animal. Nothing like sinister or necessarily worrying, but you do hear it.
Yay, more
and
Fae.
I think when we were originally in Ornkaima, when we went to get, who was it, Erin? Is that her name?
Yes.
We went up this direction, right? Like towards these rocks?
Yes, I don't think the mountains were there at the time, but yes.
I know we we didn't go that far. I think we went to like around here somewhere.
Yeah, roughly
so
around there, yeah.
All right, so we have been a little bit to the north, but we've never been in this direction.
It may have been actually like over here, actually, I think.
Okay. Okay, so then we're kind of traveling a little bit near where we have been.
Yeah, the map's changed, so I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, actually, I do think you did travel this road, so I think it was like this crossroad here.
Okay.
I think it was
all right. So then,
around that area.
all right. So yeah, we kind of have an idea of where we're heading into. Bjorn's gonna take, well, not even take Isla aside, just look at her and say, if you see any of the magic guards, tell me so I can put cape away.
Yeah, I can do that. Are you sure you don't want to put it away until we actually get somewhere?
I'm not able to use it if I put away. And it could be very helpful from what Soren told me about it.
All right, and 2 taps on your arm or wherever, or your back, I suppose, means put it away.
And you see him kind of put up, like, look down and put up 1 and then 2 fingers, and just he nods at you.
Yeah, she taps him twice.
He nods and should be good.
Good, don't forget.
And does everyone have everything they need?
Yep.
Yes.
Are you bringing any of your new books, Eve?
Tempting. She might take one of the history books that she found. I guess she can find like a local history or history of the lodge. Matt?
Okay, yeah, you can. There's not a whole lot as far as the history of the lodge itself, but there's you find a few like pamphlets and stuff, some old pamphlets of this, because it was basically a hunting lodge, and so it for all intents and purposes it would act as a as an inn for people that would come out on, like if they were going to be out hunting for extended periods of time, this would be sort of like a base of operation for them.
Mm-hmm. Well, just like it's just just an interesting history book in general.
Yeah, the one that you find, and you actually find multiple copies of, are it's the history of the empire, essentially.
Mm-hmm. She'll grab that, throw it in her bag, and say, "I'm ready."
So the history book that you always talk about, written by the victors.
Yes, written by the empire themselves. Yes,
Yeah.
talking about how wonderful they are.
Then, when everyone's ready, Bjorn will pick up his stuff and look to Isla and say, "Hey, after you."
I can. And she'll step out with her bag and lead everyone through the forest.
On the road
So,
again.
what is the pace that you're trying to take here? Regular pace? Or are you trying to go quickly?
Through the forest, at least, Isla would take them at a regular pace.
How can we estimate how long it would take us to get to like this first city?
A regular walking pace would be about 2.5 miles per hour. And you're looking at between like 170 to 190 miles that you're walking. So you can divide that to figure out how long it's going to take you. If you figure you're walking, 8 to 10 hours a day.
So 170 or 180 miles divided by 8 would be just under 23 days. So I mean, Bjorn has no input on whether we should walk fast or not, but after he would say,
Well,
perhaps.
you figure like so if you're walking 2.5 miles, let's just 2.5 miles per hour, and you walk, even 8 hours a day, that's 20 miles a day.
Oh,
So
okay.
So it'd
All
be
right.
170 miles divided by 20. So it should take you about what?
8.5 days.
Yeah. So
Okay.
a little over.
All right. So then, yeah, Bjorn
A little
has no
faster,
input.
better to walk 10 hours a day instead of 8.
So Bjorn has no input on whether we should go faster or not, but he will say, perhaps we send message to Grayson maybe halfway into journey to let him know who we go for first.
Seems fair. We can also ask for a description of the person we're looking for.
So then maybe when we hit whatever day we hit this fork in the road, we tell him we're heading up to Terra Mal.
Okay.
And yeah, Bjorn's gonna look at Soren and say, we do not know how long it will take to respond. He may be very, very far away, yes?
It is possible, but as long as we're on the way, we should receive a response relatively soon.
Okay.
That's a good question. I actually have no idea how long it would actually for like a paper bird to reach somebody.
I think paper birds can go regular flying speed, right? So like 60 feet, and technically in a round. So
okay, so paper bird to magically fold and seal itself to take flight, taking the most direct route toward the recipient at the top speed of 8.1 miles per hour. Upon arrival, the proximity of its intended recipient, the enchantment wears off, and the paper bird becomes a regular piece of paper.
So 8.1 miles per hour.
That's very specific. 8.1.
Yeah. If it traveled if it traveled an entire day like that, 8.1 times 24, it would be just under 195 miles in a day. It's 194.4 in one day.
So
you guys, what you have to do is you have to write the message 50 words or less
Okay.
onto the sheet of paper, and then whisper the name of the person that you want it to go to.
Okay. Well, one of you smart people write a note.
And they are secured messages and can only be unfolded by the person that you whispered the name of. So they can't be intercepted. Or, I mean, they could be intercepted, but the person who took it could.
Then yeah, I mean, I guess we go and just head there, and since it's just under 9 days, I guess after like the 4th day, we'll write the note.
I take that back. If a paper bird was intercepted during flight or was prevented from moving, it would immediately turn to ash. It would also turn to ash immediately upon whispering its name if the person that you were trying to send it to was on a different plane of existence. So you would know if Grayson was somewhat on a different plane of existence if it turns to ash as soon as you said his name.
Okay. Good to know.
When you get there and you decide what you want to say to him, I'll tell you that it does not turn to ash. So he's not on a different plane of existence.
And yeah, so I guess we would send it in like Soren said, ask for a brief description of who we're looking for and the person we're going after.
I'm just typing up something in Word.
Okay, go for it.
Did the music stop again?
Yes.
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 God, I hate this thing.
But yeah, as we're traveling, I'll look to Ayla and say, is this part of North you have been to? Oh wait, no, Ayla hasn't been there. I meant Eve.
Sorry, what was the question?
He would just look at you. Bjorn would look at you and say, is this part of North that you have been to?
Fuck, which one was that? Where are we going again? Sorry, I'm. Shoot.
Karamala, which essentially, which in common is called the Crossroads.
No, I kind of went down from Barrymore through the forest. It's a bit of a hazy journey, but I don't think I've been that side.
So new land for all of us.
I kept more to the east than the west.
Does anyone know if this place is populated by more?
It's possible.
Everybody except for Bjorn, because you would have no clue. Go ahead and do a history check, I guess. Just so that we can see what rumors you might know or what you might have heard about Crossroads.
I rolled a 5 because I'm too busy writing.
Yeah, Soren and Eve, you're not entirely. You've heard of the place. Ayla, for the most part, all that you're really aware of is that it's certainly larger than Ornheim. It's not a huge place. There are a few thousand people who live there. For the most part, though, it is sort of like a stop on the way to somewhere else. So there are quite a few different. I wouldn't call them casinos, but there are a lot of gaming establishments, so people can go and play cards and dice and those types of things. So it's not really a touristy place because you wouldn't go there to like specifically go there to enjoy yourself. But there are just a lot of distractions for people to kill some time while they're on their way to somewhere else. Obviously, merchants and stuff who travel between Farendale and Testra stay there a lot. But it's not known to be a place of any particular renown or anything exciting necessarily.
To tell everybody about it, Isla just shrugs and said, "Yeah, its name means crossroads. It's just a place that you stay in. Probably there'll be some more doom somewhere in there. They're traveling from place to place."
Well, and I will say too, everybody roll everybody, and even in Bjorn, why not? So Bjorn, I'll say you can do it at disadvantage, but everybody else do another history check, just for your knowledge of the Mordoon. You guys are rolling really badly.
I'm from the deep south. I know nothing.
Eve knows the most. For the most part, because the Mordoon used to be a group of again, they were a large part of the Imperial army that defeated the Sun Elves. They are very small in numbers now, so the most places that you will find them are in Eve's hometown. You'll find them in Otar and you'll find them in Tessera. Those are the places the 3 places most. There may be a few here and there at some of the larger cities, but it would be a small post of like, probably less than 20 of them. Just sort of like there to say, yes, the Empire's paying attention, but in some places, like Ornheim, there aren't at least none stationed there. Farendale doesn't have very many either. Farendale is somewhat of an autonomous city. As I had mentioned previously, it is essentially considered the human capital. It is the largest city that has a majority population of humans. And for the most part, the larger cities, with the exception of the ones up north and Tessera itself, it's not spoken, but it would outwardly appear that the Empire's grip on the entire island is starting to slip a little. They don't really have they don't have the Mordoon to patrol every place anymore. So a lot of the other larger cities have sort of taken a little bit more autonomy to do their own thing and they're not looked after by the Empire quite as much as they used to be, just because they don't have the resources to do so anymore. So the Empire sort of become a little bit more lax in allowing each of the larger cities to sort of set their own sort of like general rule of law and that type of thing. I mean, obviously, big things are still in effect, where the whole magic and religion thing. The Empire will certainly step if somebody opens up a temple or something. But as far as like the local magistrates and the local policing of mostly left up to each individual city to fend for themselves, with those few exceptions.
All right.
Nice.
And just as another side note, I mean, Farendale for the most part is where you would have your humans. Baranor is the place where there would be more dwarves. Stonefall is probably the one that has the most diversity, and every place else for the most part is at least on the main island. Some of the islands.
Did you finish our note,
Yes.
Soren?
Yeah, you can post it wherever you want. It doesn't matter.
That's 49 words.
Nice.
And obviously I'll be whispering Grayson to the bird.
And obviously you don't hear anything right away.
I figured as much. But at least the message is out there.
So, was there anything else that you wanted to do, Gus, on your way?
Not me.
Just walk quietly.
Maybe
Yep.
discuss how we're going to deal with this person when we find them.
And per your previous conversation, I mean, not saying that he won't respond to this, but Grayson did mention that he was leaving it at your discretion how you wanted to handle both of these, whether it be to capture them or dispose of them, I guess.
Perhaps we try to capture him and ask questions, and depending on answers, we decide what to do then.
Seems fair, but we should be prepared if we have to kill him.
Oh yes, if necessary.
Here. All right, so on your way back up to Terramale, you do Sorn. You get a essentially in from Grayson, who he just describes that the person that you're looking for is a halfling named Giles. He's not, as far as Grayson knows, he doesn't have any distinguishing features. Grayson's actually never met the man himself, personally.
So a little guy named Giles.
Yep.
Okay.
And, like, nothing on what he may have done for a living.
He doesn't. You further information about it?
Well, sure.
Grayson has a lot of people that work for him, and he sort of outsources some of the recruiting to people below him, so he doesn't know everybody. Of course, he may amend that after the events that have occurred.
That seems fair.
So Bjorn is going to be very, very adamant about looking out for very small people for the rest of the journey and when we get there.
Yes, we have to look for a halfling named Giles. Fortunately, that's all we really have to work off.
At least it is a bit of a distinct person. It should be easy to pick out from normal crowd of elves.
Well, let's hope.
Well, more difficult since he's small.
Perhaps he is large for halfling.
I highly doubt he would be large enough to aim over the elves, but sure.
And when did we get that? We got that before we got to this crossroads?
Yeah, pretty much just before you got to the crossroads.
Then, yeah, I guess when we get there, like as we're approaching, Bjorn will take off the cloak. Well, actually, looking like if I look around, do I see anything that looks like I would have to worry about the cloak?
I mean, if you're like looking for large elves with glowing eyes, you don't see any.
Okay. Then yeah, I'll leave it on for now, and I'll kind of look at everyone and say, perhaps we take a few hours here to see if we find him.
Yes, that's probably a good idea. We can ask around any taverns or establishments to see if they've heard or
If
dealt
spy has come through, or yes,
with our friend, the halfling Giles.
he is not friend, he is spy.
But if he's our friend, people are more likely to inform us of his location.
Perhaps I let you talk.
If you wish.
Yeah. So I'll just follow them around and kind of try to keep my eyes peeled for anyone extraordinarily short.
Okay, so you do make your way to Terramale, and you see that once you get there, the um, the city does appear to be sort of like built specifically along each of the what would essentially be three roads. There's one that's going up to to Ferndale. There's one going off northwest to Ferndale, the northeast towards the mountains, and then there's from towards Destra. And there's also a somewhat large river that runs by the roads as well. And it's a fairly well built city. And again, it doesn't particularly sprawl out. It's pretty compact. There's multi-story buildings all along the roads, and you see that there are again a lot of different inns, a lot of different taverns. And you can see that there is a varying degrees. I mean, it's very easy to pick out like, oh, okay, well, I want to go here because I have a lot of money and it's high end. You can see some that may be a little bit further back that are a little less nice. But there's a one main inn that is in sort of the center of the town. It's a very large inn, very nice. It's called the Seven Swords, and you can see that it is quite traveled. There's a lot of people that are going in and out. A lot of people standing outside, like smoking cigarettes and drinking and laughing. And it's the town is pretty lively. Certainly more so than you'd see like in Ornkaima.
As we were entering the city, would there be an equivalent of a gatehouse where people there would be guards?
There really aren't a lot of guards at the I guess the entrances and slash exits of the city. There are stables for people to put their horses and stuff before they make their way in. It is generally frowned upon to take your it's if you're thinking of like if you think of the old west, the American West, where you hitch your horse outside of the inns and stuff. That's not really how this place is set up. Obviously, if you're on you're taking a cart through, or if you're just traveling through, you can take your horses. But if you're planning on staying, you don't essentially park your horses outside. You do leave them at the entrance. But there aren't really any specific guards. You see people that you think might be sort of like a guard corps slash militia, but there's nothing like a guard house or anything that you see.
Okay, if that's the case, could we go to these stables first?
Yep.
Hello, is anyone here?
There's a stable boy that was like cleaning some of the stables out and looks up and can I help you? Because he kind of looks a little around like you don't have any horses. You can see that he's kind of confused, like what?
Yes, my colleagues and I have just come up from Tessera. We are looking for our friend who may have stopped by and left his horse here. A halfling fellow named Giles. Would you have any record?
We generally don't keep records. We just take money and assume people will come back for their horses.
do you remember if there was a halfling gentleman who dropped a horse off recently?
Not too many halflings come through here. Usually they're riding ponies, so it's usually easy to remember them, but I haven't seen any in a while.
Well, thank you very much for your time. We're just trying to find our friend before we move on to Ferndale.
And he just sort of waves at you.
And looks like we're going into the city.
I will keep looking.
How does everyone like the idea of a pub crawl?
It's not to my tastes, but I suppose it makes sense in this case.
I mean, I've never gotten drunk, so
I'm not inferring that we buy alcohol to get drunk, more of maybe buy a drink or two and inquire in each of the taverns.
okay.
I'm sure the big guy would enjoy that.
He's just like smiling.
You can be our resident taste tester. How does that sound, Bjorn?
This I can do.
Fantastic.
Is there specific inn or is there many here?
I think there's one fancy one, but there should be some lesser ones around town.
I will follow you.
Very well. Pub crawl it is. And we'll just head off to the first tavern and work our way from there.
All right. Well, the one that you'd probably be closest to you is sort of I guess you consider it like a mid-tier inn. It's called the River's End.
Sounds perfect. Does it look busy or well used?
It's not as busy as the Seven Swords that you saw, but it's if you're going in, there's a fair number of people in there. This does appear, however, to be mostly just a tavern and not a tavern/inn.
I mean, yeah, we can go in this one as a basic tavern. One, to try and get information, but two, to kind of to fit in with the locals.
Seems like a good idea.
It's only because you're ready to drink, isn't it?
I have keg. I can drink whenever I wish. I want to find little man.
Oh,
I mean, we all have our preferences, Bjorn, but you should probably keep that to yourself.
He kind of also goes, "Oh no, not like this. To kill."
Oh. I got really confused for a second and I was like, wait, what is he talking about preferences? I think both my mind and Eve's mind went just very innocent and didn't understand what was being said.
Mm-hmm.
Just sort of tilt her head and say, what's wrong with him having a drink?
There's nothing wrong with having a drink. Is there, Bjorn?
It is quite fun.
I've never actually had ale or that kind of stuff.
Well, let's not go too hard too quickly.
Do you think they have any mead?
Well, we can certainly find out, and we'll head in.
All right.
Since I'm very tall, I'm gonna like as soon as we get in, I'm just scanning for any halflings.
Do a perception check.
Just about to say, could I assist? But yeah, he doesn't need it.
You don't notice any small people. Seems to be mostly elves and humans.
Okay. I'll just follow them up to the bar then.
Excuse me, barkeep.
And a sort of an looking elf, which means that they're got to be pretty darn old to actually appear. Sort of looks up and sort of flashes you a smile. It's a man. What can I get you?
We'll take 4 ales, please, to start off.
He nods at you and starts pouring your drinks.
Do you have any objections if I ask you 1 or 2 questions? We're rather new in town and we're looking for our friend who may have passed through.
Sure, as long as you're paying.
Well, certainly paying. We are looking for our halfling friend Giles. Do you know if he's been in here in the last while?
Not familiar with the name, no.
Any halflings in general?
We get a few every now and then, but usually not that many this far south.
Did any of them look nervous or rushed?
Sort of things from it's like tend not to pay that much attention to people's emotions.
That's fair. It's just we are trying to find him before he gets into some trouble. And Saul will bring out a few extra pieces of gold, just rolling it in his hands.
And he just kind of looks at you, but like kind of like long wishing he could give you more information, but he doesn't have any.
Very well. Well, thank you anyway for the ale and the information you have done. And here's a tip anyway. And he'll give an extra gold coin anyway.
Okay.
Well, you said you've never had a drink before. There you go.
I mean, I drank before, it's not ale or beer or that kind of stuff. It was always mead or wine.
Well,
Or
enjoy
it's
the
one
taste.
really weird drink. So gives it a sniff.
It's decent as far as ale goes. It's not like terrible.
I mean, I've never had an ale or any of that kind of drink in real life either, so.
It's best not to savour the taste. It's easier to just drink it.
She looks at it and then she looks over at. Fuck! Why is my brain just blank with names all of a sudden? Ah, this is killing me.
Bjorn or
Bjorn.
Isla?
There we go, Bjorn. For some reason, I could not remember any names for a second. Wow. She looks over at Bjorn and she just waits for him to drink so she can copy him.
Yeah, he just downs it.
Downs it. Then she
Isla's
looks
just sipping. She's like, this is acceptable, I suppose.
She looks very green afterwards.
And just as a mug of like ale is like 4 copper, so I'm not actually gonna make you like. I don't like tracking copper's pain in the ass, so like we'll just assume you paid. Just take off a gold that you gave him, and we'll count that as paying for all of it.
Fair enough. Barkeep, one more question if you don't mind.
Yep.
How much would it cost to buy everyone in here a round? By your estimates.
We'll just say a couple of gold pieces. Probably wouldn't be that much, but we'll say that anyway.
let's do that then.
Isla's just cocking her eyebrows, staring at him.
And as the bartender sort of announces that you're buying the house around, everybody sort of just like raises their glasses to you and just hey.
Free booze.
I'll turn to the patrons. Cheers, everyone. There can be a second round after that if anyone can answer a question for me.
Everybody just sort of looks at you expectantly.
We're currently looking for our friend Giles, a halfling fellow who may have passed through here recently. May have seemed a little nervous or rushed. Have any of you seen someone along these lines?
And everybody just sort of looks a little bit disappointed and goes back to their drinks and their conversations. But as you're saying that, somebody walks up to the bar next to you, makes just sort of a wave at the bartender, just sort of like saying, hey, thanks, and walking out. And as they're passing by, they sort of like run into you, Sorn, and says, oh, my apologies. You must have dropped this, and then hands you a note, and then just keeps walking.
That's not suspicious at all.
I will sit at the bar and read the note.
So, in quite nice looking handwriting, it actually says, meet in Ferndale. Find Blood River Alley. And then it has a name. It's not quite as written, and it's a signature. It's a little bit harder to read. But it does look like it says Ophelia. And then next to it, you see a symbol, which is a raven with two scythes behind it.
Would this happen to be Mr. Grayson's?
You would recognize that symbol as being Mr. Grayson's, yes.
Very well. Everyone, shall we head over to the tavern and take a night's rest and have a discussion?
Yes, please.
Sounds good.
She's like leaning against Bjorn's arm, and it's clear the elf did not agree with her. Just after one, she's looking green.
So we'll head over to the Seven Swords and book a night.
Okay.
And I've taken some gold off the sheet for the round for the bar.
And the Seven Swords is very nice. So for all of you, do you want to share rooms? Do you want to have individual rooms?
Does anyone have
Isla
preferences?
would want separate rooms.
It looks like we're getting at least 3 rooms.
She wouldn't mind. Eve wouldn't mind sharing,
Beyond?
as long as she can make a pillow wall.
I mean, Bjorn's used to sleeping out in the cold. He doesn't care either way.
No, Bjorn, come inside. You're gonna get a cold.
Beyond, it's best if you sleep inside and not create too much of a commotion while we're looking for someone.
Is probably best, yes.
So
I do not mind.
It'd be 5 gold per room. So however you can get 4, or you can.
Well, we'll get 3, so you can cuddle up to a warm Bjorn.
Works for me.
I'm okay with that.
So
Right,
I'll
so
take
15
60 off. And once we're able to go somewhere private, I'll reveal the note to the rest of them.
Well, I suppose that's our next stop. It's easier than going inn to inn or tavern to tavern.
Yes, the general idea in that tavern was to A, find information, or B, create enough of a buzz, shall we say, enough of a noise, that someone would be willing to offer information some way.
Well, hopefully, getting attention to yourself doesn't mean some thief or whatever comes by for your gold.
True, it's one of the risks, but unfortunately, with very little to work on, it's a risk I believe we had to take. Plus, if you're trying to hide from people, you wouldn't go to the most expensive standout inn in a city, would you?
No, I suppose not.
So, luckily we can rest for the night and head off to Ferndale in the morning.
She just nods, and finishes off her ale, and then heads up.
Is there anyone in this tavern that looks like interesting? Like not the typical elf or anything like that?
Most of the people that you see look like they are probably merchants, because everybody's seems to be pretty well off. Nobody particularly interesting as far as there aren't any. You don't see any dwarves or halflings or gnomes or anything like that. It does seem to be the general human elf population.
Rona, I like so many words. Eve keeps her hood up the entire time to hide her horns. Doesn't want to stand out.
Bjorn, would you be interested in having a few glasses of wine before we head to sleep?
Yeah, we can do this.
Eve, interested?
Anything but ale. Please, anything but that.
If that's the case, I could try and order some spirits.
A small glass of like mead would be nice. Like fruit wine, or if they have that.
I shall
Sangria?
inquire.
Pretty much.
Could
She's
we,
a fruity kind of girl.
could we have one non-alcoholic cocktail and 2 bottles of wine with glasses?
She's not fruit wine has alcohol in it, mate. It just tastes nicer.
A bottle of wine costs 10 gold.
Oh yeah, considering we've got Bjorn with me, I'll pick up 2, so that's 20. And we'll obviously
You'll be
pick up
broke
some.
before you get to Ferndale.
We'll be alright for a little bit.
Well, Ayla's got you covered, right?
Yeah, if she shares her money.
Right.
And we'll pick up a nice fruity wine for Eve.
Thank you for not giving her a non-alcoholic beverage.
I mean, and you do realise we're trying to start a winery, so more wine.
Fruit wine is a kind of wine. You just add a little fruit to the mix. It's good. You ever had strawberry wine?
No, I'm a
I ha-
spirits kind of guy.
I loved whiskey and amaretto before I realised I was allergic to alcohol. I'm cursed. Never to get drunk.
All right. So you get your alcohol. for the evening. Is there anything else?
Bjorn, you've never really talked about your clan. Anyone interesting from back where you're from?
The not especially. I was part of clan down very far south in mountains. I was going to be in line to be next leader of clan, but the leaders had son who was not very happy about this. I do not have proof of it, but I believe he killed father and took clan for himself and exiled me. So that is why I left. I did not wish to, but forced to.
Sounds like quite the nice gentleman, doesn't he?
He's much more. I know what thought is on clans and mountains and just go around killing, but we somewhat kept ourselves next to coast. We had fishing and such. We only attacked or defended when necessary. I believe with him it may be much more aggressive.
I mean, to be fair, I've never really had that assumption of surface clans, considering, apart from when I met up with the rest of you in Ornkheimer, I was under the mountains.
The ones on top of mountains are a bit different than the ones down in mainland. They're much more savage.
How so?
It is less living by rules, more living by power. Your clan is respected for power. You mostly be left alone. If your clan is seen to be weak, you do not have clan for very long.
Well, that sounds scarily familiar to how the Drow live, just with more slavery.
Not many of us would keep slaves because slaves require nourishment, food, place to live in cold weather. It end up being more cost than they are worth.
It's good to know that if I was born on the surface, I wouldn't be a slave to a household.
If you were to thought to be kept as a slave, you would more likely just be killed.
Maybe not so good then.
But it is what I come from. It has made me what I am. But I do worry that new leader may try to attack others around him and gain more power. He was very, very interested in power.
Yes, generally throughout history, conflict just leads to more conflict.
Yes, very similar for where I come from.
Well, hopefully, once we have dealt with this issue that we have and have a steady base, we might be able to head south and maybe help you with an issue or two, shall we say.
You saw me when I entered that tavern. I was pretty much left for dead. I It's not something I look forward to going back to. If it happens that way, I will deal with it then, but it is not something I look to do.
Understandable, but if that situation does arise and we do head south and encounter your clan, just know that, considering what we have been through together, I will help.
he would just raise his glass to him a little bit and he goes, "It is appreciated, but I believe if the four of us were to run into Clan, it would not end well for us."
Well, maybe not now after a few drinks.
Always have more confidence when drunk.
True, and more poor decisions.
Yes.
Well, cheers, and we should probably get some sleep before we head off.
Yes, this long travel ahead of us tomorrow.
Well, good night, Bjorn.
Yes, good night. And I'll look at Eve and see if she's still awake or asleep from drinking. Eve?
She's dead.
Well, I'm alive. Sorry, that sound went a bit funny. I was trying to fix it.
No, I was just asking if you were, if you ended up passing out at the table from drinking.
She had 2 glasses. She's a lightweight, but she's not a She's not a toddler.
Well, then when Soren says that, Bjorn will too and say, "We go upstairs, yes?"
She's tipsy, but she's not fucked up.
Yeah, it'll make their way upstairs, and Bjorn will just offer her the bed and go lay on the floor.
I'm deciding what to do with the situation.
Nobody puts Bjorn
She's gonna
puppy in
look-
the corner.
I was tempted just to have her mistake Bjorn for the bed and for her just to lie down on top of Bjorn.
Well, you said this is a nice tavern, right? So I'm assuming like it's nice beds and like, is there like a fireplace or anything in the room?
Yeah, I'd say probably all of the rooms have
And,
fireplace.
and is it warm up here? Like, would the windows be open, or is it chilly still since we're not far north yet?
It's probably cool. I'd say it's comfortable. You wouldn't need a fire.
Okay. Well, Bjorn would probably have the window wide open, sleeping in front of it, since he's much more used to being in the cold, and he'll just look up and say, "If you are cold, I can start fire, and I can stay near window."
I'm okay. I should be fine. She just curls up into the bed, and within like 5 seconds, you just hear very, very, very quiet snores.
Then I mean, if he doesn't feel it's extremely cold, like if she's not shivering or anything, he would just pass out underneath the window, like probably just with his back up against the wall.
She's well, she is used to hot temperatures, but she wouldn't be too bad with cold either. She's a tiefling. She's used to. She can handle temperature change.
And then I guess we wake up in the morning and all head back down.
All right. Is there anything else that you wanted to do before you head out?
Does anyone wish to have a quick look around the shops before we head off?
Nah,
Bjorn does not.
I don't really need to either.
I've got enough paper to do some drawing.
Very well. We'll just head off and hopefully find our Giles in Ferndale.
Back to the main road then.
On the road again.
It'd probably take you another 5 days or so to get to Ferndale. So again, if there's anything that you want to do or discuss on your trip, you can do so.
Do we want to send them their message or no?
Is there anything in particular you would like to say to Grayson?
Not necessarily, just perhaps that the man has made it past Crossroads.
I don't believe that's necessary at this point. We've only got so much paper.
Also, take into consideration that the person handed us a note with Grayson's symbol on it.
Yes, perhaps he might already know.
So we should be fine for now. If we do require more information, we can come to that once we've reached Ferndale.
It sounds good.
All right. So, travel to Ferndale is pretty uneventful. The road's pretty well traveled, so you do see a fair number of people that are, passing you on horses and carts, and then people coming in the other direction. As you get to Ferndale, you notice that it is obviously significantly larger than Crossroads. Ferndale's actually one of the larger cities, not quite as large as Tessera, but it is one of the larger cities in the on the continent, I guess, on the island. It's unlike Terramale, the Crossroads, where everything is sort of like in a line and compact. Ferndale's much more spread out. Also, it's much more spread out than Tessera is. It doesn't look like there was originally a whole lot of city planning going on. It looks like things just sort of like sprouted up where people wanted to put things. But it does, similarly to Tessera, it does actually go back up into the mountains. So as you're approaching it, you can see there is essentially it's not when you're looking, you can look up and you can see that there are parts of the city that are higher up in the mountains, into the foothills. But also, unlike the Crossroads, once you get to the road there, you do see that there is a gate. It does have guard houses. It's not closed, and people are freely going in and out. So they're not checking people as they come in and out, but you do see that there are guard towers and there is a gate. One of the things that's kind of that strikes you is that just outside of the gate, there's actually a large dead tree. It's a very, very, very big tree, but it's extremely large. So it's quite a bit of a landmark that you see. Aside from that, the city again has multi-story buildings. There are a few that look like they may be even upwards of 4 stories, which is pretty rare. Go ahead and anybody who's proficient, do a nature check. I don't know if anybody is proficient.
Nope.
Yay!
Not me.
Island.
You notice that it is a very large and withered-looking oak tree. Aside from that, you can already hear the sounds of the city. Again, it does have a gate, but it doesn't appear that at least from your vantage point, it doesn't appear that the city is entirely walled in like Tessera is. But similarly to Tessera, you do hear the sounds of like machinery.
As we're approaching here, since it is one of the larger cities, I will take off the cape and put it into the lead box.
Okay.
Better safe than sorry.
I do agree with these.
Could we, as we're about to enter the city, stop at the guardhouse to see who's there?
Yep. Everybody do. Well, probably not Bjorn, but if you want, you can do it at disadvantage. Everybody do a history check. I mean, even with disadvantage, it's pretty close.
Yeah. Everyone else is pretty good at it.
What you guys notice, everybody else besides Bjorn, you guys you've heard of, and you do recognize that there is like a flag hanging on the guardhouses, and I guess the best way to describe this would be it's an imperial organization. I guess you could most closely associate them with like the FBI, where they are essentially the police slash espionage group of the Empire, and they are housed in Ferndale. They are known, and I will type this for you.
We're just going to say it's the Ferndale Bureau of Investigation.
Yes, the FBI. The Gwenhivar, which essentially in Elvish is rough translation, the shadows. They have a symbol of a raven, and that is what you see on the banner. You would know that for the most part, they are focused mainly on stamping down like smuggling operations, organized crime, and that type of thing. So it's though they are, considered, I guess, that part of like the CIA sort of thing, where they are considered sort of like espionage. That's not really what their main focus is. It's mainly just like task force to stop a lot of smuggling. And the reason that they're housed in Ferndale is because Ferndale is the largest producer of textiles. It's actually one of the exports that they that leaves the island and goes out to the rest of the world. So they want to make sure that there is no smuggling done here. They want to make sure that there are no counterfeits being done here to protect the reputation of Ferndale. They do have other branches in other cities, but their headquarters is here. In addition to doing the work, the task force to stop the smuggling, they are viewed to do the regular sort of police work, and enforcement and that type of thing in Ferndale. But they are officially an imperial organization.
Nice.
So so they're kind of run by the same people as the Mordoon.
Not really.
Or do they like not run by maybe, but like do they report to them?
No, they are
Okay.
wholly separate.
Okay.
The Mordoon are much more of a military organization.
Okay.
And as I mentioned earlier, though they are, I'm doing some air quotes here, they are officially an imperial organization. They have over time, because they're headquartered in Ferndale, sort of chosen to do things their own way. And the Empire, for the most part, has allowed them to do so because they have been quite successful in stamping down any sort of smuggling or organized crime, particularly in Ferndale. You will generally not find much of or any of that.
Okay.
But if you'll recall, the letter said to go to Blood River Alley.
Yeah, that was the idea of going to the guardhouse. I was going to inquire, as new people in town, if they would allow us to look at a map of the town, at a map of the city, to get our bearings.
Could probably do that. Are you going to specifically ask to look for Blood River Alley, or are you just going to look to see if it's marked on the map?
I'm gonna look if it's marked on the map first.
And how much warmer is it up here now?
It's pretty much the same. It's
Okay.
a little bit cooler here than just because the proximity to the mountains.
I guess my question is, am I going to be having a heat stroke with furs on?
You're probably not going to want to be wearing them, no. But
Okay.
you wouldn't be burning up, but you might be sweating a little bit wearing furs.
So yeah, so Bjorn will have on just like the furs and loincloth on the bottom half, but the upper half he's like just bare chested and stuff.
The folks at the guard tower are, I wouldn't say unfriendly, but they're not like particularly interested in, I guess, welcoming you necessarily. They do have a bit of a map. It does not specifically list any of the names of the alleys, however.
Well, thank you very much. We'll head into town. If you could recommend a tavern or two, if it's not too much.
The Laughing Maiden is a pretty popular one. It is one of the big things that Farendale is known for is a place called Chatterley's Bazaar, and it's essentially the big where all the merchants come and all the trading is. And the Laughing Maiden is right near the bazaar, so it's a pretty popular place to stay.
As Soren is saying, we are gonna head in, and then I'm gonna look at the guys and say, and I'll show like I mean I'm covered in scars, so I'll just look at him and say, I have never been here before. I have seen fair amount of trouble in my time. Is there anywhere that we should not go near? Not looking for any trouble while we travel.
And he sort of chuckles, and he basically tells you to sort of avoid the back alleys.
Okay. All right. I'll just nod and just say, the last city we passed through was very nice, but they did seem to have some shady people. I just wish to stay clear.
He just sort of nods. And everyone that you, all of the guards that you met, they are all human, just as a, that matters necessarily, but FYI.
So then as we're walking away, I'm going to look to Soren and just say, perhaps we look for someone who looks like they may be up to no good.
Yes.
And they tell us where this place is.
If we can find someone like that, great. If not, it might be a case of going to a tavern or an inn and trying the same method again of trying to buy information.
Perhaps this time, since we do know that this Giles is nearby, we do it a bit more quietly, not whole bar at one time.
Oh, agreed. We can ask, instead of Giles, we can ask for the location of the alley.
This is acceptable, yes. I want to look at like try to take an A-list perception, or like not perception, like how she's reacting to, like, because everywhere else is elves just like her, right? Pretty much.
Mhm.
I just want to kind of try to see how she's reacting to being in the minority group right now.
Yeah, she just looks a little bit tense. She's not really talking that much, not really standing near the rest of you, but I mean, she hasn't really been standing or talking through the entire trip, so.
Well, the sooner we find what we're looking for, the sooner we can leave.
No, I'm fine. I'm not sure why looking so concerned.
You look different than you do around other city.
Yeah, just not used to it, of course.
Yeah, generally people from the south aren't very accustomed to larger cities. I mean, look at Bjorn.
Yes, when I first went to Ornkaima, I thought it was the biggest place I ever seen, and then I went to Tesra and was very blown away.
Yes, I haven't exactly been to many larger cities either. Until, I suppose, recently.
Yes, perhaps we go to this tavern, Laughing Woman, and ask around.
Sounds like a plan. And I think we were going to keep an eye out for any shady looking individuals to question.
Bjorn is still looking for little people.
And I would say that you do actually see a few gnomes and halflings and dwarves amongst
Anyone
the...
that's a halfling, I just point to immediately and just say, "Should we ask?"
Not all halflings know each other. It would be rude.
But perhaps that is Giles.
Maybe.
Well, I'm not entirely sure he would say, yes, I'm Giles, if he's on the run.
Also, if we keep asking everyone, have you seen Giles? Are you Giles? It's going to tip the real one that someone is looking for him.
This is why I let you guys do thinking.
I mean, it's a good plan, just maybe not the correct one for this situation.
So everybody do a perception check, I guess. All right, so as you're walking through the city, you're making your way towards the Laughing Maiden, which is near the bazaar. So as you're walking in the bazaar, you do see that surrounding the bazaar, it is, I guess the best route you could describe it as be sort of a town square. So it is like a big open area with lots of like merchant tents and everything, and stalls, and you see lots of people milling about. You know, it's very noisy, lots of activity going on. People, you know, shouting out what they're selling and that type of thing. And you can see that it's almost a circle, and then there are quite a few different alleys that sort of break their way off of this circle. And you do see that there's actually a rather large opening in this circle where there appears to be a main road. And as you're looking down that main road, or I won't say main road, but the large exit to this place, because it's actually from the opposite direction. This is not from the entrance. You can see quite a few really, really large, nice houses. So these appear to be sort of like a residential area beyond the bazaar, where you see houses that are quite a bit nicer than you've seen anywhere, even really out where, at least in the areas of Tesra that you were, because you weren't in the ritzy part of the district there. These are some of the largest like single homes that you've seen, and they can see them towering in the distance. And as far as any shady characters, you actually do see what appears to be a woman, slight of build at least, wearing uh, a gray cloak with her hood up, and Ayla, she makes eye contact with you, and then ducks back into an alley. And everybody would recognize that at the very least, that cloak that she was wearing appears to be similar to the ones that um, the guards were wearing, or the members of the Gwenhivar were wearing. So not, I would say this person doesn't necessarily look shady, though does look suspicious.
Like out of place.
Yeah.
And did any of us notice they looked at Ayla and then ran?
Evelyn might have seen that exchange.
Yeah, Milo wouldn't even hesitate. She would just say, well, there was a strange person that over there in that alley. A woman.
Well, it can't harm to take a look.
If this is dangerous, I would like to go in front. In case it perhaps lead to ambush or something of sort. The name of alleyway sounds very scary.
True, but let's not try to go too aggressive too quickly.
I do not wish to be aggressive. I just wish to be at front in case something does occur. I do not wish to make anything happen myself.
Very well, then let's follow.
And yeah, I'll make my way towards there. And, like, I'll just follow Ayla's direction.
All right.
And just as a quick heads up, it is getting extremely nasty out. My phone gave me a tornado warning alert. So again, I usually don't lose power, but shit may happen.
Nice.
I mean, tornadoes in Connecticut are not something I really have to worry about. So when they say that, it usually just means it's going to get windy.
All right. So you make your way back into the alley, and you see that the alley itself is about 6 feet wide. Because of the tall buildings that are around it, it actually is kind of dark back here, even though it is daytime. And you notice that there are a lot of empty stacked crates that are, you assume, from the surrounding shops and stuff. The buildings that are surrounding you are about 3 stories high, and you can see that there are a few small balconies up above, but there don't appear to be any windows on any of these buildings in the back. I mean, there wouldn't have been a whole lot of purpose for them, but there are a few doors and balconies that people could step out on. You do also notice that there is quite a distinct odor. You kind of get the idea that there might be a tavern around here that people come back here to relieve themselves from time to time. So it's not a pleasant smell necessarily back here.
Watch your steps.
And everybody can do another investigation or perception check, whichever you prefer.
I think I go for the one higher investigation.
Woohoo!
Nope.
Thank God for the 2 girls. Holy shit. Me and you are awful at this.
I know, we can't see shit.
All right, so you guys find all kinds of great stuff. So first of all, you do notice that when you walk back here, you are pretty sure that this is the place that you are supposed to be. You also notice that there are the boxes that you see around here strike you as a pretty decent place that you could hide if you needed. You also see that there some of the on top of some of these empty boxes, there are a few crates that appear to be some exotic that actually might be somewhat recent. Like they're not sitting there rotting or anything. So that's kind of curious. You also notice that there are where you entered. A bit further down into the alley, there are 2 doors that you see. There's one to the left and there's one to the right. And then on the low side of the wall, before you get to those doors, you also notice that there is what appears to be the attempt to hide another door. It's covered by a wooden board, but with a 21 and a 24, you guys notice that it looks like someone was trying to hide an additional door.
Bjorn doesn't see shit, so he just keeps walking.
No, Bjorn, wait. There seems to be a hidden door over there.
I follow where she's pointing towards and move over towards it and just move the board out of the way.
And as you guys are making your way there, you do notice all of a sudden that this female figure that you saw appears at the entrance of the alley from where you came in. So oddly, she went in front of you, but now is appearing from the same place behind you. And you can see that she's sort of quickly walking in your direction. And as you see, she's coming closer, you can see that she's looking in all directions, as if she's looking for something or someone. And
I want to try to put myself in between her and everyone else.
Okay.
Not threateningly or anything like that, more defensively.
So
and
and
as she approaches and just like kind of just say, "Who are you?"
As she approaches, you can see that she is wearing, the gray cloak, and you can see that underneath, she does appear to be wearing leather armor. She has chestnut brown hair that sort of like you can see hanging out from underneath her hood. She appears to be, from what you can tell, she does have her head down a little bit and a hood up, so it's hard to tell exactly. But she does look to be relatively young, somewhat pale skin, and as she comes up, she just sort of like raises a hand at you, and you can see that she doesn't say anything at first. She's still just looking around to see what, not exactly sure, but she's continuing to look around. But she doesn't say anything to you just yet.
Are you looking for anything in particular, miss?
And she stops for a second, and then like it's almost like she just notices you for the first time. But she tells you that just making sure that I wasn't followed.
We were following you.
And she just sort of chuckles. It's like, and a good job you did.
You were this way, and I point the complete opposite direction of her, and then just look at her and just say, "I do not." And he just like shuts his mouth.
Bjorn, I believe she may be a friend of of our grey-skinned son, shall we say?
Well, that's a weird way of calling him, but sure.
Bjorn looks utterly confused. He's just kind of looking back and forth between you both and goes, "You are a friend?"
And she just nods. For the sake of expediency, because I don't want to take up a ton of time, and I know Lily doesn't want to play too long tonight, so I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on the role play for this particular conversation with her, at least. So I just want to kind of give you guys the breakdown of what she's giving you here. So she goes to explain that she is willing to assist in finding your friend Giles. She does, however, require your help as well. She explains that she is a member of the Gwen Hivar, but she does have a mutual friend, Mr. Grayson. She does not mention his name, of course. But what's currently happening is that she believes that the leader of the Gwen Hivar is betraying the cause, so to speak. While the whole purpose of the Gwen Hivar is to stamp down the smuggling and all of the underhanded dealings there is a startup group of merchants that call themselves the Free Trade Society, um, which outwardly appears to be just sort of a guild of merchants that are banding together to, you know, make more money. That's like what they're pretending to be, essentially, at least from her point of view. And the reality is that she believes that they are, in fact, smuggling. um, and she believes that the leader of her group, the group that's supposed to stop all of this, is in fact working for them. And she intercepted a note from someone that she believes worked for the Free Trade Society, that states as much, essentially, or that she believes alludes to the fact that this may be the case. What she is concerned about is that there is a meeting between the leaders of the Council of Farendale and the Council of Baranor, coming up in a few days. And it is believed that these people, the Free Trade Society, are organizing an attempt to kill all of them, because the leadership of Farendale obviously has a vested interest in the Gwenhavar keeping the peace and keeping the smugglers out. And it is believed that if these people were to be disposed of, they could make things a little bit easy for themselves as far as getting things done. There is going to be a dinner that will be held. So she believes that the leader, his name, I will type for you here. I can find it in my notes. I have his first name. I can't find his last name. Axo Deshar is the leader of the Gwenhavar. She believes he is working with a noble within Farendale to smuggle and to set up this attempted assassination. And it goes on to acknowledge the fact that while she does work for the Empire, which may seem somewhat counterintuitive as far as also working for Mr. Grayson, she makes clear that she is first and foremost an agent of Mr. Grayson.
As she's saying all this, Bjorn kind of just looks at her and goes, "So you wish for us to kill this Axel?"
Not really. I just need proof that he is doing what I think he's doing. So, what I would really like you to do is a bit of spy work. Unfortunately, people know my face around here, so I'm really not going to be able to do this on my own. And unfortunately, I can't trust anyone within my own organization, because if I'm right, they may be working with him. I will type this person's name.
I'm not entirely sure we'll make the best spies, and she'll glance over at Bjorn and
Well, you don't
Be insulted.
you don't necessarily have to particularly spy. You can go about it however you want. I believe that there may be evidence within Lady Fenrir's residence, and Fenrir is the one she believes is working with Axo.
If you do not mind me asking, would yourself or anyone that you know of be able to supply us with some basic identification?
What do you mean?
Well, how often do you get drow coming to Ferndale?
Probably more here than anywhere else, but I wouldn't say often.
Well, if we had some verification that I was a trader from below, that may gain us a audience with this Lady Helena to set up a possible trade.
Well, we could certainly forge documents. That's not a problem.
And if we've got documents to allow us into her premises, that would allow us the opportunity to try and find information.
Yeah, Lily. If can you?
Sorry.
Yeah. There isn't any documentation that would get you into her place. This is a private residence, so I can't. There's no official documentation that would allow you to get in.
Well, if documentation could be created to prove we are traders looking to create a understanding with her organisation, it will at least create a chance for us to meet with her. Maybe not to her residence, but it's a start.
Well, here's the thing. Doesn't really have an organization. She's essentially the widow of a lord, and if you ask me, she may have had something to do with becoming a widow. But essentially, she's just a wealthy patron. She doesn't really have an organization so much. The issue is also that Axo is close friends with Lord Halvard, and I will type his name for you as well. So, Lord Halvard is actually I guess, I don't know what you would call it, mayor, de facto leader of the head of the council of Ferndale. And Axo, who she believes is plotting to kill Halvard, is a close personal friend of his. She also explains that Lady Helena lives down on that street that you saw earlier. It is Caval Street, where all of the nice houses are. She goes on to explain as well that Lady Helena, the rumors at least, were that she essentially came from nothing. That she grew up in a bit of a rough neighborhood. Again, there's no way to prove this, but it was believed that she herself was a bit of a rogue before meeting her husband. So that's where the suspicions come in that she may have had something to do with her husband's death. The official story is that they were on vacation at their summer home, and he accidentally drowned. Lady Helena, however, is also quite popular within the city and the lesser, I guess I almost said lesser people, but the common people, because she does run a soup kitchen where they serve soup and food and stuff to the poor. for free.
Well, would you have any suggestions yourself on how to get into her residence or to meet with her, as we are new to the city and are unfamiliar of what is required?
Or if she's ever leaving her home, we can just sneak in while she's gone. Maybe while she's volunteering at the soup kitchen.
She herself doesn't generally go to the soup kitchen. She just essentially funds it. She lives in a very large house, and there are quite a number of entrances. However, as far as Ophelia is aware, she is very untrustworthy of people, and only, as far as she knows, she only has 2 staff members in her house. So it's just her and 2 other people at most, unless she has people over for meetings or socializing, whatever, which does happen from time to time. But
Does she have guards that work for her?
Unless Axo is there, he would bring an entourage of people with him. She does mention that Axo does have a right-hand man that follows him around who's a half ogre. She does not. Lady Helena does not have. She has a cook and a butler. And as far as she knows, those are the only people who work for her at her house.
And do you know what these proof is that would link her to these other bad people?
Any sort of physical evidence, if there's any like letters between them. I don't have any specific, unfortunately, but just have to investigate the house, hopefully. But that would the first thing I would look for was any sort of correspondence.
Does she have anything that could trace magic?
Not that I'm aware of. She is not a magic user that I know, and Axo is not either.
Good. I can use some magic, get us in, get us out, and that's it.
I look at this girl's face at the mention of I can use some magic.
You look at Ophelia's face.
Yeah.
You can do a insight check, I guess.
Yeah. I was also gonna do one just in case. Nope.
I'm so much wiser than you are.
The big hulking barbarian. She doesn't appear to be particularly fazed by it.
Okay. Doesn't look like she's gonna run shouting magic user, magic user.
No.
Okay.
Isla just smiles.
And you would assume, given her admission of working with Grayson, that
Okay.
this wouldn't be anything to you.
And Bjorn's gonna look and say, I am assuming all of these people that you have mentioned are human, yes?
Axo is a half elf.
Yeah.
Everybody else is human.
Okay, so I'll point over to Soren. I'll say, because I have seen this one. When he doesn't really sleep. I wanted to make sure that if she goes to bed, it would actually be to sleep.
Kind of looks
I just kind of look at Soren and I say, "What you do? You do not sleep, yes?"
That's not exactly true. I just don't need as much.
Well, it is good to know that she is. She more likely will be sleeping. That makes it a bit easier.
So as you guys are also talking, she stops and you can see that she sort of looks over your shoulder, and she's like, "We can't be seen." And you can see that there's somebody coming down the aisle, or the alley rather.
Bjorn will turn and pick up one of the crates that still had some stuff in it.
Isla will quickly cast a quick one.
Is it just one person?
Yes.
How far down the alley are they?
I mean, they're at the entrance at this point, so they're coming your direction. And
But
she immediately ducks behind the crates.
Are they coming from the opposite direction? Like we could still go out the same way we came in, right?
No, they're coming from the direction that you came.
Oh, okay.
So,
All right.
right. So where you are right now, if you were to go, obviously, like back the way you came, you'd be going towards them, and then there are crates that you can hide behind, and then behind you are those essentially 3 doors: the two doors, and then the hidden door.
Yeah, Bjorn grabs a crate. Is there any crate of that like fruit around?
Yeah.
I just grab one of them and just look to everyone else and just say, hide, and I just start walking towards the person, like back out the alleyway.
Okay.
And I kind of try to be as big and block as much view behind me as possible.
Well, for me, as soon as that person's far enough in, where they're not quite in like view of the main street, I'm going to cast Sleep.
Okay.
All right. Not bad.
All right. He falls asleep.
I'll walk up. Bjorn, put the crate down. Have you got any rope?
Well, why don't we just leave the alleyway? I think we're all done at this point.
Yes. Could you just point out which house exactly it is, and we'll take it from there?
Yeah, and she does.
Then if no one's got any better plans, we shall wait till nightfall and try to stealthily break into a noble's house.
Before any of that happens, though, she goes over to this person that you made fall asleep, and she rolls up the sleeve on his arm, and she points. She picks up his arm and shows you, and he has a tattoo of the number 4 backwards. And she tells you that is the symbol of the Free Trade Society. And then she slits his throat.
As she does that, Bjorn kind of just looks and says, "Do you want me to move him somewhere?"
She kind of has a bit of a smile, but obviously not one of like pleasure. And she just says that they call this place Blood River Alley for a reason. You can leave him.
I did not realize it was that literal, but sure.
Well, if that's all we can really help with, we should. Where can we meet after this is done?
Here. Let's see what else. He also had 20 gold in his pocket, which he takes and just tosses to whichever of you want to catch it.
I think I will to recoup some of that money I spent.
Go for it. So, yeah, then she does point the house out to what she said.
Yeah, and she tells you that you can meet up at the Laughing Maiden.
Very well, then hopefully we shall see you tonight or tomorrow morning with evidence.
Do any of your people patrol streets during the nighttime?
And they do, yes, from time to time.
All right. Well,
Maybe you can make sure, maybe less so tonight?
I'll do what I can. I have to be careful not to make myself suspicious amongst them because, again, I don't know who to trust.
Oh, well,
You're
agreed, but maybe there's a activity in a different part of town, shall we say?
What I can.
Bjorn is gonna kind of look at him and just say, I am not best at sneaking around. Perhaps I can try to hide somewhere outside, and if something like that does happen, I can cause distraction.
It's your call, but as you saw, I do have ways to render people unconscious.
Yes, I understand. I just I am rather big and not the best at being quiet, so I worry that I can possibly get everyone caught.
Well, that's your call. If you do come in with us, and it's only 3 people inside the house, we could just easily knock them out, bind them, then look throughout the house.
I am not best when it comes to planning. If you come up with a plan, I will follow.
I would rather not bring any attention to ourselves at all, so we pretend we're sneak thieves, get ourselves inside, at least me and you. I can cast Pass Without a Trace. It's, let us sneak a little bit easier, search around, make sure we don't run into anyone, and that's it. Simple.
Well, if that well works out, then fantastic. Did Roll20 just reset itself?
Yeah. Mine just refreshed the page out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. And the reason for that, I'm assuming, is because I just kicked.
Kind of figured.
But yes, if we can sneakily do things, then fantastic. Beyond, you can wait outside and distract if required. And if we are caught inside, again, sleep, restrain. So we do have a few options of before everything goes wrong.
Yeah, I believe if we are able to get into house unseen, it should be. I shouldn't have problem being quiet once inside. I am more worried about getting in.
Well, I do have the ability to open doors as well, so not too difficult.
Alrighty.
How long will we have until like nightfall?
At this point, probably about 3-4 hours.
Well, we can certainly rest at, well, make our reservations at the inn to set up appearances.
That's fine by me, makes sense.
Yes. Perhaps we look for a tavern rather, which is closest to this home.
And actually, this the house itself is about like I think it's the second house on the street, so it's pretty close to the market where you are actually. You can see it from the inn actually if you look around the side.
And would that make the closest in the the Golden Maiden?
The Laughing Maiden, yeah.
Laughing Maiden, yeah, sorry. Yeah, we'll try and secure some rooms for the night. And when it gets dark, we can begin Operation Rob a Noble Lady.
All right, so while we're doing that, let's take a quick break. I'm gonna go grab a drink.
Yep.
Alrighty.
Same. And back.
So you should be at the bottom of the map. See yourself.
Yeah. Just have to say, I wouldn't have had enough time to recover that one spell slot, so I'll use Arcane Recovery to get it back.
Okay.
Because what could possibly go wrong?
Yeah, I'm back.
So you should be at the bottom of the map right now.
Yep, I see it. When I was getting my water, I heard a big old lightning strike. I was like, "Oh God, please no!" But it was just a tree, not anything special.
Yeah, it rained really hard here earlier in the day, but
Yeah, see, I'm not getting a lot of rain right now. It's kind of just windy, and every now and then I hear it. Like, it doesn't even like, you know how like they say the further away like the thunder is, like the less frequently you'll hear it and stuff. I'm not hearing it very often, but when it hits, it sounds close as hell. It was like that all day though. It was like raining really, really heavy on and off, and then nothing for like 2 hours, and then it's just like a fucking weird day.
We had storms here too, but it only lasted for maybe 10 minutes. And then it cleared up, like sun came out and everything.
Yeah,
We
like,
definitely.
it like poured for like 15-20 minutes and then it just stopped like it had never even.
I mean, I'm not even gonna complain. I need the rain. Like everything out here is drying out. It's been so hot the past like week or so. It's nothing, and it's getting awful.
And it's supposed to get even hotter coming up.
Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty sure you're further south than I am, Matt. So you must deal with more heat than me. But it's supposed to even be like 105 this weekend for us.
Yeah, I'm in Cincinnati. We're like in a valley. It's the Ohio Valley. So more than anything, it's ridiculously humid here. Like it gets like you just can't even breathe. It's
Yeah,
so
I walked
humid.
into a wall of thick air when I got out of my house this morning.
That's awful. Well, the biggest issue is that it, in addition to it just being hot, it's going to be so humid that the heat index, like I think it said, it's going to feel like 105.
Mhm. Yep.
Yeah,
So that's
it's like that now over here in Ireland. It's just fucking hot.
Yeah, I'm not liking it.
Yep, even hot in Canada land.
Well, they said it was 90 degrees in Anchorage, Alaska. Like, yeah, it's pretty bad.
One of my friends traveled to India, and when she came back, she's like, it was hotter here in Canada than where she was in India.
Crazy.
The thing that gets me every time though is like, it's depending on what part of the country you're in. Like you go to Vegas and it's 105, you're fine with it because it's not humid.
Right.
But you go to like down in Florida and it's 90
God.
and it feels like you're walking through a sauna.
Florida is the worst. I hate Florida.
Yeah.
It's funny. I've only been to Arizona once, but I was in Arizona in January, and at that time it was actually colder out there than it was in Ohio. So, because it's hot during the day because of the desert, but then there's nothing to retain that heat, so it gets frigidly cold. But anyway, you guys will see yourselves down at the bottom of the map. You will see that you are standing in front of some stairs, and this map is actually two maps. So this is a very large building. So you guys can move around, decide how you want to.
Just out of curiosity, when we were looking, like this is the house over here, I'm assuming, and are there any? Is it like very, very close together buildings, or is it kind of just like, this house is here and nothing really else is around?
As far as what you can see, there's just a giant house here.
Okay.
There are houses on the other sides, but there are, I guess you would call them, privacy fences in between. So as far as you guys can tell, like the walls are pretty high, so you're not able to. You can see, like, obviously, like the second the floors above for the neighbors, but like you can't see the ground level of the neighbors' houses.
Okay. And how high does this, like, how many stories is this house? How high up is like the roof?
This appears to be 2-story.
Okay.
It might be 3. It's hard to tell. It's like one of those sort of houses. Like sometimes you'll see what appears to be a single-story house, but like it actually has like a a second story in the pointed roof there. But
Okay.
it looks like from the outside, at the very least. You can't tell. There are windows above, like the second floor, but they appear to be small, so you're not sure if they're decorative or if there is like a third floor. If you can determine that if there is a third floor, it would be it wouldn't be like a full size floor, if that makes sense.
Okay. Right.
Well, if everyone wants to stay near me, I can cast Paths Photo Trace on us, get us more quieter.
Should we find way we wish to go in first? How long does this last?
An hour.
Oh.
Should be enough, I suppose. I can recast it if necessary.
Well, it probably wouldn't be the best idea to go in through the front door. So if we can find a side entrance or a back entrance, would probably be best.
Do we wish to hide for a little bit and perhaps wait for a patrol to pass by and make sure that they do not come halfway through us trying to get in? Or do we wish to just go now while we do not see any?
I will also say, just because it wasn't a good way for me to do this. There was a fence outside, that would essentially block where you're standing from view from the street. And I'm just gonna say you climbed over the wall and
Okay.
without
So
having anybody
okay.
see you.
Okay.
But people couldn't see you standing essentially in the. So like from where you are, you can see that there's kind of like the sidewalk is sort of curved. We'll just say that essentially that would be a full circle. You just can't see the whole circle. And then at the other end, there's a gate that you guys jumped over, so they can't actually see.
That works.
So maybe if we hook around the side and try and find a alternative entrance.
Yes, and Bjorn, do stay behind us. You can't see as well as us.
Yes, it is quite dark. I will be following close.
Okay, and Isla will cast Pass Without a Trace. Don't know why I have to do a spell input. Go.
So everybody just roll stealth roll now.
Ooh, 27.
31.
Isla's the one that needed it. 18.
All pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Bjorn is kind of just going to follow you guys around outside. Like, I'm assuming I could see a little bit with like maybe moonlight or something, but I'm definitely letting them lead the way. As we're walking around, can I just keep my eyes looking up to see if there's any windows with like light coming out of it?
Yeah, and you do see that there you see lights on the first floor. You don't see any lights on the second.
Okay.
Obviously, we're going to keep an eye out if anything's in the gardens, like dogs or anything.
As we're like walking past this tree right here, does this tree look like it goes up to where we would be able to reach to get into like the second floor or like the roof or anything?
It's not close. Like the branches reach out, but they wouldn't be strong
Okay.
enough to walk.
Okay.
And where you're standing right now would essentially, for all intents and purposes, be like a car park, right? Like aren't cars here, but and you can see that there is a door up these steps. So there is a door right there.
As we're walking, I'm gonna kind of look to Ayla and say, "Did you come from a house like this?"
No, nothing like this.
I lived in tents, so do either of you know if there would be like a servant entrance, something less used?
It's possible, but we would have to look around the entire property.
So, place for their carts, or we suppose we could continue walking.
Everybody do a perception check real quick.
Everything's back in order.
Yeah, so here where you guys are standing in this wall, essentially, that's the one thing I don't like about dynamic lighting is that you can't make windows work without making it just essentially an entrance that you can walk through.
Mm-hmm.
So along this essentially along this wall here, there are a number of windows, and you guys would have seen that because there's lights, so you would have been able to duck down and not be seen. But you can see that there appear to be a couple of. This appears to be like a dining room, and Ayla, you can see, or Isla, you can see. There appear to be two women sitting at the dining room table talking to each other.
Is one more like notably fancier than the other?
They both appear to be pretty fancy.
Okay, she will just say, I believe she has guests.
I will say that I don't think I specifically made mention of it, but we'll say that Ophelia gave you a description of Helena, and you're looking at essentially at the back of her head, but from time to time when she turns and you can see her profile, you would guess that's who it is. The other woman that's sitting with her at the table, appears to be also a human, but has dark skin. So you assume that that's a guest that you're not familiar with. She also gave you the descriptions of the people that work for her. She has an elf butler, and her cook is it's an elf butler, and he's a man. And there is a female halfling who cooks for her.
And Isla will just say, be on your guard. There might be more than one guest here.
Well, if they are on this side of house, perhaps we go over to opposite side and get in.
That's why we're casing the place first.
Yeah, and Bjorn will like pretty much get down on the ground to crawl, so he can't be seen through the windows.
So the way the dynamic lighting works,
This is
looks
what you were
like-
telling me about.
yeah. This also makes this look stupid. This is just a square building, but the way that the yeah, you can see there's some gaps there too where you'll see like holes. But there is where Bjorn's standing, there is a door. Let me so there's a door right. Why is this not? Ugh. All right, so there's a door right there. And then this building that is over here. I hate the way that the line of sight makes it like not be able to see like that it's just a square building, because like if you go around the back side of it, you'll be able to see that it's a square building, but otherwise it like makes the shadows look all weird.
Are there any windows on this one?
There is a window in the back, and then there are two doors here. I mean, you guys, it looks like a shed.
Okay.
And Isla will say, maybe not this door right here. Maybe we should just keep going.
There's a window here, and then there's a window here, and then there's a window here.
Keep ducking as we go.
Should
that
we look
still
through
looking in?
this small building just in case?
And also, before you do that, like over here, what you can see. So I didn't do the dynamic lighting because I thought it would be weird, but you can see like all these plants and stuff. Like technically, this is a greenhouse, so your tokens can go through it, but it's actually glass right there. I wanted you to be able to see, but you technically can't walk through it, even though you actually can.
Okay.
But like, it's just it's a greenhouse, so you can see the plants in there.
Well, I'll at least go to the window in this building and look in and see if I can see anything.
The windows in the back, it doesn't appear to. It just appears to be a shed with some like pots and like planting pots stuff in there, like a wheelbarrow.
All right. Well, I'll look at them and say, do you think it is worth looking into? It seems to be rather ordinary.
Now we can take a quick peek if we can get in quietly.
You know more about
the door there are two doors. One of them appears to be slightly open.
I'll just walk over here and like kind of hide in a bush and keep a lookout while whichever one of them walks in.
Probably the 31 stealth elf. I'll just very gently start poking the door open and looking in. Anything of
It's pretty much
interest?
it's pretty much what you saw. Bjorn saw. There's just tools and some potting. There's like a rake and an axe and general maintenance type things. There is a this thing right here does appear to be like almost like a stone blacksmith wheel where you could like sharpen weapons on it.
So definitely nothing of interest to like investigate the room any further. It's just a shed.
It's just a shed, yeah.
I think we should keep going. It's just a shed, and I'll close the door too without making any noise.
And you can see there is a door up the stairs here inside of the greenhouse. So obviously, you can't walk in there from that direction. But you can see these steps here, and there's a door on that side. There is a greenhouse door here, and then you can see that there is a door into the house. directly across from it. So if you wanted to go in the greenhouse, then you're at a deck essentially, and then there are a couple of double doors right here.
So it seems we have our entrances.
There's also a door down here.
Any windows that we can see into?
Not right out here. There is in front of by this bench. There are windows, but there aren't any windows along the eastern wall here.
Do these windows have light coming out of them?
Yes.
All right, I will call, or like I motion to Soren and just point towards the windows with the light because he is the sneakiest one.
I'll have a look in.
Yeah, you have to come down to the bench here. See, because where Bjorn is. Because that's where the windows are. You can see there does on the couch there. There's a couch and a table. There you see an elf gentleman appears to be reading a book.
Well, it seems we found the butler.
And then there is a door to that.
And is Isla would say, is that a butler or the guest?
Oh, it's an elf male who's just sat in a room by himself reading.
And for the most part, I mean, Ophelia didn't give an exact description of him, but based on her description, you assume probably.
I am assuming his profession.
You are. He is wearing nice clothing, but it doesn't appear to be like it. I mean, I won't say that he's wearing your stereotypical like sort of like tuxedo type butler outfit, but he is. He doesn't appear to be wearing casual clothing, I guess.
Perhaps we look near greenhouse. There seemed to be entrance back that way.
Yes, that might be better.
Yeah, plus it gives us a secondary door, which is always helpful. I'm going to quietly try to open it. Is it locked?
It is not.
Then I would like to quietly open the greenhouse door.
It opens inward, and no sound or anything.
And up these little stairs is the entrance?
Yep.
Or is there any sort of like, if I look in like the gap at the base of the door or anything, can I see any light coming out of it?
I know you should be. I think you should probably see some breaks in the dynamic lighting where you can see some.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, okay.
But yeah, there doesn't appear to be a whole lot of light coming from that door.
Could I just listen to the door?
Yep. Do a perception check if you'd like. You don't hear it.
Does it appear to be locked?
It does be locked.
Then I would like to attempt...
To cast knock, no.
No, I would like to attempt to use my thieves' tools.
Which you're not proficient in, correct?
I am due to my criminal background.
Really? All right, well, go ahead. The door unlocked. Not a very particularly complicated lock.
And just open it up very quietly.
So now that you're inside, everybody go ahead and roll another stealth check. You still have your password.
Ooh, 27.
Oh, even better
32.
overall.
Everyone did better.
Yay!
So you are sneak thieves.
Just so it's known, I'm not going to pull out my my maul, but I want to take one of my hand axes out and just have it in one of my hands, just in case shit pops off.
So, again, because of the way that this is set up, it's difficult to see. So there is, in fact, a door right here in front of you, and then there's the door back here, which is the other door from the greenhouse on the other side.
I'll just put a little line next to where we see doors.
And then that's back out to the greenhouse.
Can we...
Oh, so there were 2 doors. Okay.
Yeah, so there were 2 doors for the greenhouse.
Can we hear anyone moving in the hallways?
I'll keep your previous perception that Isla had made. Still trying to pay attention. You don't hear anything necessarily in the hallway, but you do hear a noise coming from the hall that direction to the west. You don't hear anything to the south.
And we don't hear anything from the door next to Ayla.
No. What you hear from that direction appears to be like pots and pans sort of rattling around.
Well, that's
I give a big old sniff. Do I smell like food or anything coming from that direction?
Do a perception.
I probably smell too bad to smell anything else.
I don't really smell anything.
Okay. All right. And can we just go ahead and say we close that door?
Sure.
Just so no one walks by and is like, oh, hey, wide open door.
Well, if we can't hear anything in the door next to us, let's try going in there first.
Yeah. Bjorn just holds up his axe.
So where Ayla is,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this one.
it's not locked.
And I'll walk in and I'll reclose the door. Which way did this door open?
Probably outward.
Okay. So I'll just reclose the door and as they're like doing their search around, I'll just hold my hand on the handle so it can't turn.
And Isla will just point down the hallway to the left of us, and you put a finger to her nose or to her mouth.
There is a door down that direction, but it is open. And then the stairs that are in front of you are stairs that go up.
And everyone else we've seen is all on the ground floor, correct?
Yeah, I think he said we didn't really get to see into any of the windows on the second floor.
Yeah, all of the everything was. It doesn't appear that there's any activity on the second.
Well, should we head upstairs? That's generally where people keep their studies or hide things in their
Isla
rooms.
nods and then puts another finger to her mouth. You
Actually,
shush
I
him.
take that back. Those stairs are going down, not up.
Oh,
Sorry. It's hard to tell sometimes the way that these are set up. But
Bjorn will
those stairs
point at
actually go
Ayla and
down.
make fun of her for not knowing the difference between up and down.
Yeah, sorry. Like it's just like when you have like 2D stairs, it's hard to tell sometimes. Yeah, those stairs actually go down.
Then I'll signal
There
to...
you can see, Isla. There is the stairs go down, and there is a what appears to be a rather sturdy looking door at the bottom of the stairs.
Do people... Actually, as I start talking, I look at Ayla again and just kind of stop and realize she's saying to be quiet.
Also, I don't think you necessarily need to do a perception check. Bjorn probably wouldn't know this, but this appears to be sort of a because this is a large house. And so the idea generally would be that you would have like, if you think of like Downton Abbey, it's not quite as big as that, but you would have like you could have a staff that would work here. And so this would be like, Ayla could see when she was looking before that appeared to be going into the kitchen, right? So this would be essentially where the help would take their breaks. Essentially, this is like a break room. You can see the tables back there and some like just odds and ends and stuff like that. But this is where the staff would normally like hang out when they were, just to stay out of the way, so that the people who live here didn't have to look at the help.
If that's the case, we'll probably head back into the hallway and try and find some stairs up.
Did Roll20 just reset again?
Not for me.
Nope.
Oh, I just lost the whole thing. The whole screen just went white and I lost the map. Well, let me try and refresh here.
Oh, GM's gone. We can do whatever we want now.
Yeah, it's still saying that you're in the game and everything too.
Yeah.
So I will also say, just so that you guys don't spend too much time, because this is going to be a kind of a lengthy investigation potentially. So I will say that what Ophelia was having you look for was like correspondence or anything that might incriminate Axo. But she did mention that there are that the upstairs for the most part is bedrooms, and that the offices and such are actually on the first floor. Just that I don't want you to be going upstairs and then spending a bunch of time not looking for things or not finding things. So,
well, yeah, what I was thinking was people are either going to hide stuff in a study or hide it in a vault in the room.
right.
See, that's what Bjorn was going to ask in there. He's going to say, do people not like hide stuff in basements? But
yeah, I mean, there people would hide things in basements. From what Ophelia knows, though, the second floor is basically just living quarters, and she doesn't think that there would necessarily be any incriminating evidence in the bedrooms. It's possible, but as far as like correspondence, one of the things that that both Axo and Helena are sort of, I won't say known for, but they both have a fair amount of hubris, and so they're not necessarily, Helena in particular, when you get to be that wealthy and that powerful within it, you don't generally think that
you can be taken down.
Exactly. So you're not necessarily going to be like hiding or burning all of your correspondence or anything like that, because who can possibly, and also if Ophelia is right, and she is working with somebody who is good friends with essentially the leader of the city and stuff too. I mean, how afraid are you of
The Untouchables?
Yeah, how afraid are you of people that are going to break into your house and steal your stuff, right? Like that isn't going to happen.
Yeah, no one's that dumb.
She is somewhat wary, at least in the fact that she's not very trusting, which is why she does not have many people work for her.
Well, shall we continue to try and find a study of some sorts?
Is the basement not an option?
Maybe if we don't find anything on this floor, we can check the basement.
Okay.
And Ayla, you would be pretty certain as well that at least going down the hallway to the left there is going to lead to the kitchen, because that's where you saw the kitchen. So at least, and you also know that going in that direction is also where the dining room is, because that's where you were when you were outside. So
Yeah, so
And then
she'll
going-
start leading them down.
Going down is where the butler we saw it was, right? Because when we were down this, yeah.
Yes, he is that direction. Yes.
Well, as you start walking, Bjorn will just like kind of go. There's another. Oh no, never mind. This door goes to outside again. I follow you. And that wasn't even Bjorn being stupid. That was me being stupid.
Yeah, to be fair,
So
sometimes
there
players are
is-
just dumbasses.
There is a door right here. And then there is a door down at the bottom of the hall. There's an opening right here, but there's no door there.
And would Isla recognize that as like against the wall or where they saw where the butler was?
I mean, yeah, you would assume that that's probably that door at the bottom of the hallway is likely where
Okay.
he was.
Could,
And then there's like a little, but yeah, there's a door there which you can probably see through the the freaking lighting.
Just out of curiosity, it just crossed my mind. Since Soren did mention a study, I'll look at him and say, the room that you saw Elfman in, did that look like it could be study? You said he was reading, yes?
it's possible, but generally they don't.
From what you saw, it was essentially like a little like love seat and what I guess you could consider like a coffee table. You saw a little fireplace and then like a dining room table. So this would have been more of like maybe I guess you might call it like a parlor, but it didn't look like there was a desk or anything like that.
Yeah, generally they wouldn't allow their staff to just lounge about in their private, where they keep their private documentations.
Yes, of course.
Could I quietly listen to this door?
Yep.
Perception.
Oh god, I just looked and saw perception 8 and I forgot it was mine. I thought you just fucked up.
You don't hear anything.
Is it locked?
It is not.
Could I quietly open this door? Well, this looks fancy.
So this room, it does have some books and some correspondence on the table. This looks more like, I guess, what you would describe as, I mean, I guess kind of a library, because you do see that there are bookshelves all along the walls. It doesn't look like a personal office or anything like that. As you can see, there's a big table where people would come to discuss certain things, possibly do some research with all the books and everything. And then there are stairs, and these stairs do also go up.
Bjorn, just keep an ear out at the door. It can't
There
harm to
are
have a...
also. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go on.
I would say that there are also double doors at those two locations, the top of the room and then the other side of the room.
Oh yeah, because I think this one would lead to the hallway we just came past.
Correct.
Yeah, Bjorn, can you just keep an ear out while we have a quick look around this room?
I'll do the same thing again. I'll close the door, hold my hand on the handle, and put my ear against the door and just listen for any approach.
And you guys can do an investigation check if you want to look for anything.
Yay! No!
I was gonna say maybe Ayla should just assist you, but thank God I didn't.
So the books themselves, a lot of them actually appear to be like books on the wall. So essentially, if you wanted to train to become a lawyer, you could possibly come to this room and learn all that you wanted. There are some letters that have been written and that you find on the table. They don't appear to be anything particularly interesting. There are a few invoices for things. You can see that there appear to be a few like requisition orders. So in addition to like what appears to be like a greenhouse where she's growing things. It does appear that there are a fair number of other herbs and things that are being ordered. But that's mostly what you find. Nothing else jumps out at you.
Okay. Isla will just shrug and then point towards the double doors that don't lead to the hall they've already been to.
Someone will nod, head over, and attempt to listen again.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just keep your previous one. You don't hear anything.
I'll signal over to Bjorn to come over.
His eyes are closed. He's like really concentrating on listening.
Isla will go over, tap once, and then nod towards us.
He jumps a little bit, but like he kind of just like startles, and he looks at you and nods and follows you over.
Isla just rolls her eyes and then walks over.
Gives him the
Ready?
dumbass type of roll eyes.
Yeah.
All right. So in this room that you see, there are a couple more sets of double doors. There are some here, and then again across the hall. And there is a large statue of a horse in this room. There's also a large painting on this wall here of a horse.
Nothing fishy about said statue.
Nope, just looks like a particularly gaudy and expensive horse. It's not even a very good. It's made of marble, so it looks like it was made, or it would have been very expensive to make. But it's not that great. Like, you're not overly impressed with the craftsmanship.
Are they like? Is it like obviously the same horse or anything?
No,
On the painting
the painting is actually much better. The painting
Okay.
is actually quite nice. The statue's not particularly great. It's not bad, but it's not. You're not like wow, that's amazing.
Is there any like writing on it, like a signature or anything?
Nope. It's not. It's a bit blockier than you would have expected for something this large as well. It's quite a big statue.
Could someone quietly knock on the statue in different places and check the painting to see if there's any hidden catches or anything behind the painting?
Yeah, do a investigation.
Please, better than a natural one.
Natural 2.
No, I mean the statue itself seems pretty solid. Painting, you kind of look behind it and just looks like it's hanging from the wall. Nothing special.
Just shrugs and points to the next door.
I mean, looking at both of them, I guess you look like this is something that a rich person bought because it was expensive. That's pretty much it. It was like, I need something to fill this room, and then they put something that they thought was impressive in it, even though it's not particularly impressive.
I'm just gonna make sure I keep closing doors behind us as we go along.
I mean, I'll include, like, as part of your investigation check too, that we'll just throw in that, like, these doors do appear to be locked, but you don't hear anything on the other side.
Well, could I attempt to unlock them?
You can do so. Your thieves' tools break.
Yup.
I'm going to murder him with my hand axe.
But the lock doesn't seem particularly difficult to do. You just just for whatever reason you caught the wrong angle and it snapped the thief's tool. But as you were doing it, you noticed that, as is the case with a lot of double doors, like the way that these doors are set up, like sometimes like if you have double doors, you would put like something in between them, right in the middle, so that like for support. These doors, like as you're doing it, you kind of lean it against it and you see that the doors actually like give quite a bit, like as you push in towards them. So there isn't anything in between the two doors, like
no bracing.
There's no bracing. So like they're hinged at the wall, but they just sort of like latch together but
They're like saloon doors.
yeah, I mean, kind of, but they're locked. Like there's no latch like it would be in the
Okay.
other side of a wall, but like they latch together and then they're locked. But like you can tell, it's a little bit flimsy.
Is this something we could get between the three of us to quietly push against it and obviously like catch the doors when the lock breaks?
I mean, you think you might be able to do something like that, yeah. I mean, you're not entirely certain how quiet it would be, but you are pretty certain that you guys, like, you think that Bjorn could probably just push these doors open himself. You're just not entirely sure how loud that might be.
Are there handles on the doors?
Yes.
Okay. I'll motion for him to get out of the way, and I will just kind of look at him and say, "I will be as quiet as possible." And I'll look at him and say, "You wish me to open, yes?"
As quietly as possible.
I would
And
say
I
for
wanna-
this, do a strength and dexterity check.
All right. Well,
Strength
I want to
and-
do it. Yeah, I want to do it holding on to the doorknob, so that way, if it does pop, it doesn't like just I'm not pushing the doors and they just slam against walls.
Yeah, that's why the dex
Okay.
check as well. Just to
All right. All right. So strength first,
yeah, that's
Alright.
that part's not a problem.
and then dexterity.
Could we have helped him by also grabbing the handles?
No, I mean it wasn't going to be it's not a very high AC for that anyway, or DC for that. So it does make a noise, but it's not like earth shattering, right? Like, this is a big house, so, and you're not out in an open area. The room that you're in right now is actually enclosed, so it doesn't. It's kind of loud, like it echoes a little bit in this room, but you're fairly confident that it didn't like wake the house.
Bjorn's kind of just like, I am sure that it sounded like pots. Yes.
It sounded like cracking wood more than anything, but
He doesn't want to admit that.
Isla just shakes her head and then looks into the room.
so
And-
this appears to be a bit more of a study, right? So you can see probably through the holes in the lighting that there's a door at the bottom here, and then there are these rather wide stairs that also, let me double check, I believe those go down.
Those look down since the shadow's lower.
Yes, those do go down, and you can see at the bottom of those stairs. I'll say Isla can see at the bottom of the stairs because it's kind of dark down there. But there are double doors down at the bottom of the stairs, and just like the ones that you saw at the other one, these appear to be quite sturdy doors at the bottom of the stairs. But you do see that there's a desk. There's some scrolls. There are some wine bottles over here.
As they're starting to do their investigation, Bjorn is going to kind of just try to get the doors back to as close to as looking closed as he possibly could. Like, granted, I just broke them. He's just going to try to get them to balance somewhere in the middle.
Okay.
And then, without thinking, he's just going to go and sit down in that big chair.
Yeah, it's a pretty big chair. It's quite nice actually. It fits your large build quite well.
He's just going to sit in it.
Yeah, so paperwork, keys would be nice. Anything.
Nice bottle of wine.
Give me a second here. All right. So you find a couple of things. So you can see that it is obviously it's got a fair amount of books, ledgers, quills, pens. You find one thing of interest on the desk. First and foremost, you find a invitation to the reception that Lord Halvard is having for the visit of the leadership of Baranor. It is going to be held 3 days, the evening, 3 days from the day that it is right now. You find a this is in the drawer. The drawer is actually not locked, but a drawer of the desk. You find a clear liquid. It's a transparent liquid. There, wrapped around it is a note that has rather poor handwriting. That says, "For Plan A, pour into Halvard's drink. 5 minutes after drinking, his stomach will swell, pushing the air from his lungs. He will suffocate shortly thereafter." And then it says, there's an A, like a dash A.
Isla just glances at Sword and nods.
Well, we found Plan A at the very least, but we need to find incriminating evidence for Axo.
Oh, never mind. Bjorn doesn't know letters. Never mind.
Yeah. With you guys are both like you would assume this may very well be. There's an A at the end. It's and it appears to be a poison saying to poison Halvard, and there's an A at the end. So you think this might be what you're looking.
I mean, we can bottle it. Oh no, we can take it with us.
You also find a rather interesting book that seems to be about leadership. It's like a guide to leadership. It strikes you as a rather. It's a very well-made book. You would almost describe it as a grimoire, as far as like the way that it's bound. Isla and Soren both do an Arcana check.
For some reason, when you said that, all I could think of was like leadership for dummies.
Yeah. Wow, you guys are dumb.
I mean, I can
Let me show you how it's done.
Detect magic.
I'm the best.
That's funny. Bjorn's like, that's a magic book.
We're just about to say, considering we've got a poison bottle, can I just cast, like, not ritual, but full-on cast detect magic for the entire room?
The book it does appear to be magical. That is the only thing that you see in the room that appears to be magic. The other thing, and Isla would be, given her background, would be fairly confident based on especially the note. I'll say too, just for the heck of it, you opened up the bottle and smelled it a little bit, and you're pretty convinced this is a poison.
Well, we have a magic book, a poison with an A on it. Do you believe that's enough?
I think we get out of here before we, how you say, push our luck.
I'm good with this as well. Let's go.
Let's leave quietly.
Yeah, do one more stealth check.
Is my pass without trace still up?
Oh yeah, because it lasts an hour, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we were moving around here quietly, so it's kind of up to Matt how long we've been in here.
I think you probably are getting close, but I would say it's probably still active.
Okay.
All right.
See, I'm worried that I've gone from 31 to 32. This can't get better.
Oh, here comes the one.
22.
All right. No, 17 for me. I'm the lowest.
All right. So yeah, you guys are.
Thank God for Ayla. Jesus.
Yeah, without passing.
I think
if Lena had been here, y'all been in trouble probably.
Yeah.
I think if every single one of our stealth rolls so far tonight, there's been someone who has bombed it.
All right. So just for the sake of expediency, I'll move you guys back out to the. So if you want to scroll down to the bottom of the map, I'll move you back out to the gate there, so that you don't have to crawl your way back through the map.
And I mean, we'll try to, I guess, do our best. I'll give either one of them a boost up to look over the outside fencing to make sure there's no patrols walking by before we completely leave.
Yep, do a perception.
Whichever one of you wants to take the boost up, go for it.
Yeah, I'll do it. I can look over the wall. Actually, no, I'll let Ayla go, because she's probably a bit more perceptive than I am.
Yeah, you don't. I mean, you do see some people, but it's not to the point where you don't see an opportunity to jump over. So you guys can make it back out. successfully.
Yay! Stealth mission success.
Yeah. So we will move
Bjorn
here.
just cries the whole way back that he didn't get to kill anyone.
Yeah, I mean, there's a whole lot of other ways that could have gone down. So that's I think that's
like Bjorn is extremely curious of what's in behind those more sturdy doors in the basement. Like they got a fucking something crazy down there. Like they have a pet dragon or some shit in his mind.
Yeah, let's not find out.
so.
Can I cast Identify when we get back to the room?
Do you have Identify?
I do have Identify.
Nice. Okay, yeah.
I
so
think
you
I
guys,
kind of already know, but just from the description, I think I know what it is. But
yeah,
if it
I've
is,
got
that's
an idea
insanity.
as well.
That is insanity if it is.
Yep.
I have
so,
no idea what you're talking about.
Okay.
Oh my god.
Okay, so yeah, we will say that you guys get back to the inn, the Laughing Maiden, and you cast Identify, and you do in fact get the Tome of Leadership and Influence.
Holy
shit.
So for Tara, I will describe this book contains guidelines for influencing and charming others, and its words are charged with magic. If you spend 48 hours over a period of 6 days or fewer studying the book's contents and practicing its guidelines, your charisma score increases by 2.
You remember
does-
Scanlan's book?
Yeah,
Oh,
as,
that's Scanlan's book.
as does your maximum for that score, so you could conceivably have a 22. The manual then loses its magic but regains it in a century, so one of you gets to increase your charisma by 2 and max by 2.
I would say I have a 17 charisma.
I mean,
Go
it's
ahead.
not one of us because I mean, I would love it. I would go up to, I would have a +3, but I can't read, so I have no choice in this matter.
Lena has a -1 charisma.
So it's like, do you want to just go all out for somebody that can really use it, or just like make somebody else just slightly less bad?
Go ahead, Sorn.
The only reason I took any sort of charisma, I could have taken it in wisdom, but I figured big burly guy would probably be more intimidating than he was wise.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Didn't you lose? Like, I can't remember what was your penalty for your disfigurement. Wasn't there like a charisma
I did.
thing?
I think he got disadvantage on like persuasion, but advantage on intimidation.
Yeah, I think that was it.
Yeah, but it's also a case of that's if they can see my face. So if I'm wearing a mask or use like disguise self or alter self, they can't really see it.
Yeah, I mean, it's just your straight face. Although I would say that you would probably have disadvantage on any persuasion if you had a mask on. If you had disguise self, you could. A mask would, intimidation would work for a mask, but I don't think persuasion would, just because people aren't going to trust them when they can't see their face.
I mean,
But
to be
yeah,
fair, I've got
disguise
both
self
disguise
is-
self and alter self now.
Yeah. So either way, yep. 48 hours over the next 6 days.
That is insanity.
Holy shit.
There's quite a few cool tomes as well, actually.
Yeah. There was one that I saw that it wasn't like to increase any of your stats, it was to learn something. I can't remember what it was right now.
The 3 that I have here, I've got Tome of Clear Thoughts, which gives you a +2 to intelligence. Leadership and Influence is +2 to charisma, and Tome of Understanding is +2 to wisdom.
Yeah, it would have been a horrible idea if you gave me the intelligence book as a wizard.
Would have made you pretty powerful.
Yeah, but it would have like gone past like bound accuracy.
All right, so that is what you find. So at this point, you are to meet with Ophelia. Her name is Ophelia Masters, by the way, and she is a human female.
That's what it was. There are also the manual ones. It's the manual of like bodily health for con,
Yeah, for
gainful
physical
exercise for
stuff.
strength, and then quickness of
Oh,
action
yeah.
for dex. But then there's one manual of golems, and it teaches you how to build a golem.
Oh yeah, that's it again. There's manual of gainful exercise, which gives you +2 to strength.
Yeah,
And manual
yeah.
of quickness
That's the
of
one I was thinking
action
of.
is dex.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of. Was the golem ones that teach you to make it? Yeah.
Manual of spell resistance. You gain advantage on saving throws against spells while you wear this cloak. Yep, some pretty cool stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And the good thing about that tome is you read it, and then you can just put it away, and so you don't have to carry a magical item around with you, right?
Yeah.
Well,
Which is
luckily,
good in this world.
as a half elf, I can probably live long enough to use it again.
That's true. So, let's see here. So, you were supposed to meet with her. She wasn't expecting you to be this efficient. So you will actually have the rest of the next day to do what you please. And it's the day after that you are supposed to meet with her.
I am going into my room. I'm not coming out for a day.
So the rest of you, or the rest of you being the two, also since we're down a party member, I had talked to Mike about this previously. I was kind of under the impression that this was going to happen anyway, given the fact that she just didn't seem particularly interested in, yeah. So that was why I had originally offered the opportunity to take Mally with you. So for the time being, unless it really becomes a detriment, I'm just going to keep the game with just us, because it's just not worth bringing in somebody that is just going to leave or whatever. So if you want to take Mally with you for assistance, she is mainly a support character, like, because I didn't want her to come in and just be like some badass fighter that was going to be better than your characters. So she can carry stuff. She has some magic, but she actually does not have any offensive magic. So she has a crossbow and she has a sword, so she's fast. She's not particularly strong. And she has a few advantages, like she does have permanent detect magic, so you never have to cast that if she's around.
Which is helpful.
Yeah. So she's going to be more of a, like, if you come to certain situations, she'll be helpful, but she's not going to be like in our last game.
She's not gonna be the little Vex.
Yeah, they're going to come in and like murder dragons for you. Like that's definitely not going to be the case. So she's the same level that you guys are at this point, and I'll probably have her level with you. But yeah, just as an option if you guys choose to do that, just so that you don't necessarily feel like you're entirely outmatched. And she also, again, can make slowly, but she can make healing potions as well.
Jordan is never outmatched.
I've kind of made her a hybrid character where I took some skills from the artificer. I didn't like the full thing because I didn't want her to like be able to make like constructs and stuff. But she does have like the ability to infuse some items with magic.
Yeah, see, that was the one thing about Tyrion. I mean, yeah, it's a cool concept, but it just wasn't something I would do. Would be building stuff like that.
Yeah, it's
like
kind of meh.
I did enjoy the whole, like you said, infusing stuff and enchanting and that kind of stuff. I thought was awesome.
Yeah, so she can do a bit of that to a limited, because I don't want her to be like super powerful. I want her to be lesser than you guys are, and that also plays into her like being essentially a failed experiment. So you are in a very large bazaar, where you can buy all kinds of crazy things if you choose to do so. Obviously, there are not going to be any magical items for sale here. what this isn't something that we outright discussed, I don't think, but Soren would know this, and so he would probably have relayed this information to you. While Ferndale is very anti-smuggling, and you know that's their whole deal. Like that's where the group that takes care of all this stuff is headquartered. So you're not going to find, unless you know the right people, because again, this is what Ophelia is concerned about, is that there is some smuggling going on. Ithelrem in the south, which is where there is an entrance to the Underdark, and where the Drow come to trade, there is a fair amount of black market stuff going on there. So Ithelrem itself doesn't outwardly like have a black market, because they wouldn't be able to get away with that. But if you go into the first levels, essentially, of the Underdark, there are merchants there that could conceivably sell items that you wouldn't be able to get anywhere else. That is a big. It's a known secret, and the Empire doesn't do anything about it because they don't want to start a war with the Drow. So it kind of like, do they just kind of let it go because it's not like rampant?
So it's kind of like, we definitely don't do illegal stuff, but come look at my illegal stuff.
Yeah, that's kind of what it is, and it's not just the Drow. I mean, there are some dwarves and stuff as well that are part of this black market.
So like teeter on the edge, where if they get worse, it's gonna be like raiding time. But if they stay fine, business as usual.
Yeah, and there are essentially like they make it so that it's not particularly easy. Like common folk are not going to be able to go down there because it is far enough into the Underdark that it's still somewhat dangerous to go there. So you're not just going to have like common merchants like traveling down to these places. So that's kind of the way that the Empire like says fine. Like if you're going to go down there and risk your life to do it, then whatever. But it's not enough where you would have just your regular merchants that work in Tessera or anything are going to be like traveling down there, every few months to pick up, stuff. So it really is to get it anywhere really outside of Ithelrem. It really is more of a smuggling operation. So, but for adventurers, it is a not very well guarded secret that you could get things there, which again Soren would know.
But Soren's not saying shit because he's playing with his book.
Yeah, well, I will say that you had previously told them this.
That's fair.
In all of your many days and weeks of travel that we just sort of bypass, because I don't like doing the, hey, you run into some bandits, or hey, you run into some wolves that you have to fight. It's like, that's cool, like every now and then, but that's why I like to be like, yeah, you just travel on the main road and everything's fine.
Well, while he's doing his book, I'll look to Ayla and say, hey, do you want to perhaps walk around market and have a look to see if anything interesting?
No, I wouldn't mind that. I'd like to see if there are any interesting herbs they have here.
Then yeah, we would go there. Bjorn would be keeping an eye out for anyone selling like books and stuff like that, or anything that looks like he could kill someone with.
Books and weaponry.
Yeah.
There are both of those things.
Are there any like unique weapons, like something he hasn't seen before that's like more like like more not so barbaric of weapons?
Well, I mean, they have pretty much everything that you like your basic weapons would allow. So you would see like a halberd and a lance and a pike, rapiers and scimitars and tridents and war picks, whips, flails. I mean, you probably wouldn't see too many flails. That's more of a paladin thing. And I don't not many barbarians would use like flail. I mean, for me, like flail, pretty much I was thinking like a morning star, just
Yeah.
like a ball with some spikes on a chain.
Can I pick up one of the polearms that gives me extra reach? Like either halberd or glaive or pike or something.
Yep.
All right. Yeah.
A glaive. They would both run. It's essentially a halberd or a glaive. I mean, for the most part, they're pretty much the same weapon. And as far as like statistics are concerned, they're exactly the same weapon.
Mhm.
It's 1d10 slashing. They both weigh the same. They both cost the same. So,
I'll do a halberd because just from my like a glaive is strictly a blade. This one kind of has a bit of a heftier blade and axe angle to it. So yeah, I'll go with a halberd then. How much was it?
here a halberd is going to cost you 30 gold.
All right. And I'll look to Ayla and say, pretty nice. I've never seen a weapon like this before.
Yes, it's tall and pointy, isn't it?
Look, watch, and I'll like bring it up to her neck, but standing far away, and say, I can hit from far.
Very nice. And she'll just put a single finger on the wood pole part of it and kind of push it away from her. Careful
And
with that,
he has a
okay?
big old grin on his face, like happy as hell.
Yeah, I mean, halberds are essentially like they have a spear with a tiny little axe blade on it as well. It all depends. Like, there's two different ones. So like, well, not two different ones. There's probably a billion different ones. But essentially, you can thrust with it, because it has like a spear tip at the end, and then you can also swing it in two different ways. Like, because I mean, just Google a halberd and you can see what I'm talking about.
See, yeah, I that's what I mean. It has like more of an axe-like head
Yeah,
to
so
it.
there's a small axe head on it, but then the backside also there's two different versions. There's one that has like a spike, but then there's also one that sort of has like a mace as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I guess I could allow you to decide how you wanted to do it. So you could use it as like
Bludgeoning or
bludgeoning, right? If you
Yeah.
decide that you wanted to have like the other side be like have like a flat sort of mace head, then you could do it that way. So you could choose you want to swing it that way for bludgeoning or turn it around for slashing. I would actually say that a halberd for let's just make it fun. You could choose to do all three different versions, right? So you could do slashing by swinging it with the blade end. You can flip it
Piercing by
around and
poking.
you can do pierce by trying to use it as a spear. So we'll say that you can choose any three of those.
I am definitely good with that.
That's just flavor and it's fun. And 9 times out of 10, like the type of damage doesn't really matter. So
I've all because like I think I've said it before. The first MMO I ever played was Ultima Online, and halberds were a big weapon in that. And I've always wanted to try someone with like pole arms and stuff, but it always kind of seems like pole arms they're not really given any love in D&D 5e. There's like no magical ones, not like that. It's kind of just like a side part of it.
yeah, I mean, like because it's not really like used as a default weapon for any classes or anything. So yeah.
Yeah, definitely taking a halberd and
just for anybody that was like not looking at Google, that's essentially what I was talking about. Like one that has like an axe blade, a mace head, and then also a spike at the end.
Oh,
So you can decide if you want to tenderize your steak.
Yeah, that's kind of what it looks like, right? It looks like a meat tenderizer.
and yeah, Isla would look around for like any herbs that would be useful to Mali or anything useful for herself, interesting, unique, etc.
This is kind of the one that I always was used to. Just that, and that, like, I don't know why. That was one of my favorite weapons to use in that game, and I've always wanted to do a pole arm in this in D&D, so why not?
Yep.
So as far as herbs, you can find a fair amount of those, or as should probably pronounced herbs. Let me see.
Just I'll say, if it helps, that document that I linked in chat earlier has different herbs and plants for different
Yeah, I have
potions and
another
potions.
one too, but
Like if you want to make for sake a potion of healing, you'd have to find red-capped mushrooms.
Or you can just go onto the new Harry Potter app game, and you can make healing potions of that too. It gives you all the stuff you need.
But yeah, it tells you like the DC to find it, to harvest it, and if you don't prepare it properly, you take 2d4 plus 2 poison damage
From making it or from drinking it?
from consuming the red-capped
Okay.
mushroom without preparing
Okay.
it properly.
I thought you meant it would hurt you if you made it wrong, like the person was making it.
No, it's got a fun little shit like that where it's like how to make drow poison.
well, that's what I was gonna say too. Like one of the things that you do find, is there is essentially a vendor that is selling poisons, and it's under the pretense of pest control. But you find that this is not just like for rats. Like this is like actual like poison. There is a number of different ones. They have serpent venom, and they actually have wyvern poison, and they have crawler mucus.
Do you like Bjorn's kind of following you around now with his weapon? Are you explaining any of this to him? Like what you're
she'll be
looking
like,
at?
she'll be kind of like excited and be like, I've never seen this kind of poison before.
He'll have to. Boy, is any of it good for blades?
Well, possibly. I mean, it's pretty good for. And she glances at the like the sign, whatever that's like pest control. It's like pretty good for large pests. Most excellent. I'm definitely going to buy one of these. And she's trying to choose between which one she.
All right, so I will give you what they all mean, and we'll say a compliment between just asking questions and then just your own general knowledge. So there's crawler mucus. This poison is harvested from a dead or incapacitated crawler. A creature subjected to this poison must succeed on a DC 13 Constitution saving throw, or be poisoned for 1 minute. The poisoned creature is paralyzed, and the creature can repeat the saving throw at the end of its turn, ending its effect on a success. So essentially, that is a paralytic. I would say that requires contact. So conceivably, you could apply that to a blade. And also, just an FYI, poisons are expensive. So the other one was serpent venom. This poison is harvested from a dead or incapacitated giant poisonous snake. A creature subjected to this poison must succeed on a DC 11 Constitution saving throw, taking 10 or 3d6 poison damage on a failed save, or half as much on a successful one. So that's guaranteed damage no matter what. That is could also likely be put onto a blade. And then there is wyvern poison. Again, taken from a dead wyvern. This is a DC 15 Constitution saving throw, taking 7d6 poison damage on a failed save, or half as much on a successful. So that's like on average 24 points of damage. Now, as far as prices go, the crawler mucus and the serpent venom are both 200 gold per bottle. The wyvern poison is 1,200.
As he's explaining stuff, Bjorn's gonna look at him and say, "Do you have anything if you do not wish to kill and perhaps make it stay still, paralyze?"
Oh, that's the one. That's this one, and she points to the crawler mucus.
Actually, I apologize. I said that wrong. The serpent venom and the wyvern poison, those would be attack. You could put to a blade. The crawler mucus you could not put onto a blade. You would actually have to smear that onto something, whether it be a person or creature or whatever. Like it's more of a almost like a pain that you would actually have.
Okay, so it's like a on contact thing.
Yeah, it's contact. The other two are on injury.
Okay.
All right. I think I have made my choices. I believe I'll take 2 vials of your serpent venom and 1 vial of the crawler. Mucus, please.
So that is 600.
Yes, I can pay that. Here you go. Thank you very much. And she's getting visibly excited.
And let me look, because it doesn't specifically say on here how many applications that you get.
And she would have also grabbed like herbs for, what do you call it? Or herbs for Mally as well.
And Robert, do you have that on the thing that you have? I don't have it pulled up. Do you know what the cost is for like the general herbs?
1 second.
And it's because I'm looking up the so per vial of poison you get 3 doses. So you get each one. So you have 9 doses total of poison there.
And are the doses like it's one use, or is it like does it coat your weapon for a minute?
Let's see if there is.
I'm just scrolling
Yes,
down
it
to
is.
poisons.
It is 1 minute. Yes.
Okay.
So. I guess the thought process being that if you don't use it, it would slowly like sort of evaporate or dry after a minute. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Let me double check it. Okay, so I don't think there's official rule, but I'm just looking at like some of the D&D Beyond discussions about it. So, looks like there's some different discussions, but what I'm going to go ahead and do is we'll just to keep it as easy as possible, we'll do like essentially we'll the rule of 3 here. So each one that you buy is 3 doses, and it will last a minute or 3 successful attacks. So if you coat your blade with it and you attack one thing, you can poison it. If you attack another thing, you can poison it. And if you attack another thing, you can poison that too. Then after 3 successful uses of attacks, essentially you've now
It dries out.
It dries out, or it's been moved off of the blade onto these different creatures. So rather than like you apply it once and then you attack a thing and then it's gone, you can attack up to 3. Well, it's 3 successful targets. So if you continue, it may be advantageous to attack a different thing, because if you attack a thing and it's poisoned and you attack it again, that still counts as adding poison. But if it's already poisoned, you're not going to poison it again.
Yeah, it doesn't. Mine one doesn't tell you how many uses you get. It just tells you like how to harvest it, how difficult it is, how much you get from when you get stuff.
Does it have any prices for anything?
1 second.
Let me see if I've never used poison in the game, so I'm kind of excited about this too.
Right, so rules for pricing. Oh, that's just for like rules for gathering, rules for harvesting. Right, so what is it for? So very rare, like poisons, 1,000 plus GP. Rares are 200 plus, and common fall into like the 10 to 50.
All right, so we'll just say that for if you want to spend like 20 gold, you can get enough to make a few healing potions.
Okay, so she'll spend 620.
Bjorn looks at her with all the money she's spending, and he kind of like holds out a hand. Just he doesn't even count, just full of coins. Just says, "I can help with this, yes."
Oh, no, it's a fine. I've got enough myself.
Um, eh, okay, and he kind of just dumps it back into his pouch. Probably a few.
And give me a second. I'm in the game chat. I'm going to post these so that we have them. I don't have to look it up every time. Like put all of like what these things actually do. Because of course they're not on Roll20. Why would they be?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we had serpent venom and crawler mucus. So in the game chat, those two are now listed as to what they actually.
Nice. Just waiting for Ayla to kill us during the night.
So the other thing is like, as far as like you're talking about looking for books and stuff, there are a number of like manuals and stuff for like if you wanted to learn another language or whatever. Like there are.
Well, I'm gonna ask Ayla to help since I can't read. And I'm just gonna say, hey, since Sorn stayed back in tavern to look at book, he has been speaking much about wine lately. Do you think you can help find book for that I could give to him?
Sure. Yes, I can. And she'll look through, see if there's anything on brewing.
Wine, ale, anything like this.
You don't find anything specifically about like making wine in particular, but you do find a few old books that are written by like monks about brewing beer. There are some books about wine and like all of the pretentious things that make like, oh, this is what makes one great, but like there's no like how to. But there are a few like really old how to sort of like with some ancient sort of recipes and stuff. This is again stuff that would have been written before the Empire.
Okay. As she's telling me, I say, I'll look at the guy and I'll point to one of the ones about like the old school brewing stuff, and then one about like how snobby wine is. And I'll say, hey, how much for the both of these? Yes.
We'll say for the two of them together, it would cost about a gold.
All right. So I will do that, and I will like. You see Bjorn have a very big grin on his face, like he did something good, and he looks extremely happy and stupid.
Yes, I'm sure Sorn would greatly appreciate what you bought for him.
Yes. Hopefully yes. Was there anything else you needed? Any sort of supplies for travel, anything like this?
Nope, this is good for me.
And just out of curiosity, how much does Bjorn get stared at here? Like walking around, no shirt, scars, and a huge bear tattooed onto his back.
Probably not as much as you would assume, just because you're a human. So they don't really care that much. I mean, there's obviously, I would say that the people who take notice the most are probably children.
Okay.
Most everybody else is like, eh. Because there are a lot of different people that come through here. While the population itself is, the people who live here are mostly human. Because this is probably certainly outside of Testra, this is the largest marketplace on the island.
Okay.
So you do get a fair number of different people, and there are a number of exotic goods and stuff that are here, all above board.
Okay. Then I guess we head back to the tavern, and Bjorn will walk right up to Soren's door and just start knocking.
Enter.
As soon as I hear him saying anything, I just open the door. Like before he even says enter, I just pop it open and I say, "Hey, yes, I found a book that you were perhaps interested in. Yes," and
Yes,
I just throw it
he's
at him.
very excited about it. Chose it himself.
And,
Bought it himself.
and what book would that be?
Well, two. One, perhaps you can read to help maybe learn about brewing. It is not wine, but it is about alcohol. And the other one is just about what makes wine good. You were speaking about making it yourself, yes?
Yes. Thank you, Bjorn. It's actually very helpful for what I'm looking to do.
You keep saying about covering up. I'll close the door behind me before I say this. About covering up for perhaps making potions, and nothing. I feel it would be good cover to have book about this at the lodge.
Well, that's also why I left funds for them to pick up equipment and to start the process of starting to learn. That way, if someone does come by, we are attempting to brew alcohol. So that's why we have so many strange herbs or ingredients.
And if it tastes good, it would be very nice to not have to pay for alcohol.
Precisely, and if we make enough, we can sell it and make it look like an actual
He looks a bit
business.
confused at that.
Well,
He goes, why would you sell instead of keep?
well, we can keep some of it, but if we sell some of it, it makes us look like an actual business, and people are less likely to look into us.
Yeah, yes. Okay.
So it'll all work out in the end, and you can have free wine to drink.
The one I picked out for me was ale, yes.
We can certainly look into adding ale to whatever we make.
And he kind of just, again, he has like a big, doofy, shit-eating grin on his face, and he just goes, well, I go stay at bar and let you continue with book, yes?
Thank you. I'll let you know if I come up with any grand ideas.
And as I'm walking out, I look to Ayla and say, would you like drink, yes?
Well, I suppose one drink would be fine, and she'll look back at Soren and be like, enjoy, and leave the room.
And yeah, I would just go to the tavern, order her whatever she likes, get myself one. And again, like, I mean, Ayla, if you're watching him, he puts down 10 gold and before he's even asked like an amount that he's supposed to pay. And he just puts down the 10 gold and says, this is good, yes?
Yes, it's more than enough, unless you are planning on drinking yourself unconscious.
Uh, I am not used to these. And he holds up a gold coin. He says, where I come from, we mostly trade meats and such like that.
Well, first it's customary to be told or ask for the amount that's required of you, and then you count out the amount that you need to give, and then give that amount. I don't actually trade or barter myself, so I don't haggle, but
I still have many more of these little coins, so I think it is okay for now, yes?
I suppose, if you don't mind running out at some point.
Never had before. I can go back to not having them again.
That is true.
So, where do you come from in South? I come from there too.
Probably not where you're from. I'm from a small island to the southeast. You probably don't know about it anymore. It was kind of wiped out, as it were.
I in mountains in the southwest there is a little camp in on coast that I came from.
Very nice. Yeah, mine was mostly all farming, nice trees around. That's about it. Just very small island. Small
Is
population
this
that lived there.
is that where your family still live?
No, I don't remember if you recall me talking about the requiring help about a disease.
I was it a disease with people or with farmland?
Discord. Oh, can you hear me again? My Discord froze
Yep.
for like a second. Okay. So did you respond to the...
Yeah, he was saying, is it a disease with people or in the farming?
With people, it seems. It kind of went through our entire island and basically killed everybody.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I did not remember. Perhaps I was tired or drunk.
No, that's all right. It's, well, it's something I'm willing to share if people ask, but it's not something I want to say outright, so...
Is, did you and he kind of looks around, get your talents from family?
No, I learned all my talents myself, trying to figure out a cure for the disease. It's not something that seems to be able to be cured naturally through herbs and other medicines. It seems like it needs something more.
Perhaps Mr. Grayson has information. He is probably smartest person I have met.
Yes, I did go. That's originally why I went to him asking about getting into the guild of the doctors, seeing if there's any information about the disease itself. He hasn't gotten any for me yet, so as long as he hasn't, I'll be around.
Well, we have his daughter, so if he knows, he will tell us.
I don't believe threatening his daughter is a good idea.
Oh no threat. I just meaning if he trusts us with taking care of her, I believe he would pass information.
Oh, yes. Yes, I'm hopeful.
And you could kind of see that he backtracked once you kind of were appalled by what he said. Well, I guess tomorrow we speak with Ophelia and find out where Little Man is.
Yep, and hopefully we catch him or get him or whatever and be on our way.
I know he say it is up to us. Do you have a preference? Do you want to capture? Do you want to kill this man? What do you think is best?
I honestly don't really care about him.
I've never killed halfling before. It would be quite interesting.
No? I'll have that too. I'm sure you'll enjoy it.
If is necessary. I do not like. It is strange see me, but I do not like fight just to fight. If there is no challenge involved, it is rather boring.
I'm not sure how much trouble he will be, but guess we'll see once we find him.
And yeah, he would just continue like he's in a very very good mood the rest of the day. Just continues talking complete bullshit, and as long as she'll listen, and then eventually go to bed later on that night. Unless are we meeting her tonight or tomorrow night?
Tomorrow.
Okay, yeah. So he would just keep talking until she kind of got fed up with him, and then go to bed.
You know, she would be surprisingly patient with him and just keep up with him for until it's time to sleep.
He would explain to you how he never had parents or anything either. It was like kind of like the clan raised everyone, and kind of just like a whole community thing rather than like, this is your mother and father type stuff, and just go on through the whole thing again about how he was exiled and such.
Yeah, she would mention that she was raised by her parents for until about 10 years ago, and talk about like how even though she was raised by her parents, the island also just felt like a community because it was so small.
Okay. But yeah, before I go to bed, I would just approach Sorn again and just say, it seems you are still busy. I am going to go to sleep. If anything happens, just come get me, yes?
Sure. I may be a bit tired in the morning, but just let me know when we're ready to meet up.
I believe it will be nighttime tomorrow, so you still have quite some time. You should rest though, just in case anything comes. If this little man is dangerous or something.
It's probably a good idea. catch a few hours of sleep. Good night, Bjorn.
He closes the door and he'll go to sleep.
I'm trying to think. We'll say all told, because like you had like a full day and a bit. We'll say that because you only have to do like the 4 hours anyway of your trance, essentially, that you can get 26 out of your 48 required hours
Holy shit.
of reading.
So in the first 2 days, that's actually fucking insane.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it helps when you're an elf and you don't have to sleep. I mean, you have 6 days to do it anyway, but so we'll say that you get 26 hours down. You go down and wait for Ophelia to show up, and you wait, and you wait, and she doesn't show up. Actually, that's where we'll go ahead and end it.
Oh.
I'm sure it has nothing